of Yoakley Scott Corporation and your sports network.
Yeah, I've been closer to Jesus before, so can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? But can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been scared to look in my soul. I've been afraid I would follow the road. Yeah, afraid of the things I've been told.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to a Friday edition of Running Point, August 20th. And hey, we officially have football. We had football last night. We have football today. Ooh, here we go, Ty. We had a range of results last night, too.
And you know, I'd say for our games that we previewed last night, Anthony, I think we hit the nail right on the head. I think we said Poland and Canfield and Niles and Howland were going to be your low scoring and defensive affairs, and we said Crestview and Salem and Hartley and Ursuline were going to be your high scoring affairs, and boy, were we right.
Pat myself on the back. You do the same. We did a good job. A little bit there. You know, honest, Howland Niles, by the way, defensive absolute grudge match. I mean, we both said the strength of these teams are their defenses, and they both showed up.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the defensive grudge match. And you know what? Props to Niles, because we know, okay, Howland, yes. Howland was expected to win. I mean, I think if you watch Power Hour, I picked him to win, and I said I picked him to win by 3 or 4. And that's just because I thought Howland was deeper going into this matchup. But you know what? Niles was, I thought, extremely impressive defensively tonight. I thought they did, or last night, I thought they did an incredible job for defensively against the Tigers. And then how about Ashley Macias from Howland? That was, to see that too, Anthony, that was, I think, one of the coolest moments to see in high school sports. And I definitely commented on that. I know DJ and them commented on that. The first time, I think, ever, what was it? The first time ever in Ohio or the first time that we know of, or that's significant in our area. That,
I don't know if that's an official stat. Someone just tweeted like the first time they've ever been to a game where a female scored the only points of the game.
Yeah, and I think that there's probably some truth to that, because I know, like South Range, I know there's been a few other female kickers throughout the area before, but that might ring true. That's a first time that a female scored all the points in a high school football game, at least in this area. And that's crazy to me. That just shows the culture shift we are witnessing right in front of our eyes right now. And that's a cool moment for her. And that's something that she's going to be able to go down in that school's history with for forever now.
Well, I like what you said. If you don't see the change, be the change. That was a good comment. I think that drives on the head. I mean, if you're looking at something and you don't like it, then go do something about it. And Ashley sure did.
She did, and you know what? Props to her. And I mean, that shows to any young woman too that doesn't think that they could compete with some people in athletics. That just shows you can.
I think that door was creaking open, and I think the Vanderbilt kicked it wide open.
Oh, absolutely, Vanderbilt. So that paved the road, but that doesn't discredit too. As much as, you know, Vanderbilt was that rallying cry.
It was starting to come open a little bit, and Vanderbilt just came in with a battering ram last year.
And Vanderbilt was that big noisemaker that I think everything needed, but that doesn't go without saying. Every female athlete over the years that put time into an athletic or a sport, when they were told that they couldn't or that they shouldn't, they still put forward that drive. And that's why women's sports is where it is today and is continuing to grow rapidly. And what Ashley did over there in Howland, props to her. We congratulate her over there in Howland, and we support you here at the YSN family.
Just full disclosure, I'm going to reach out to her. We're going to try to get her on the show next week. I mean,
that would be fantastic. I was going to suggest it if you weren't. I would love to talk to her, because if you don't realize in this area that this whether or not it's happened before is irrelevant. I think if you don't realize that this is a special moment happening in this area, and this is a paradigm shift almost going on in sports, then you haven't been paying attention, because this is an incredible moment. And I think this is an incredible moment for women's athletics too. Not just in football, obviously, women participating in football. I think women's athletics all around too. It's just more feathers in their cap, and that going to prove that, hey, we've been athletes all along. It's just we haven't been given the chance.
Some housekeeping before we talk about the other games really quick. You can comment on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch, or whatever platform you are watching on. The comment section is live. So is the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning hotline. 330-886-0813. Call us. Ideally, call us and talk about the results last night or the games tonight. But I mean, hey, if you call, you're in control. If you want to call and talk about whatever your heart desires, me and Ty are kind of on the hook for it. So we will talk about whatever your little heart desires if you call us, and I promise to answer.
Yeah, but I mean, hey, I don't know if you had that chance to see any of those other games, but I was kind of trying to flip through a few of them. I mean, I know I was busy last night, but I know I was keeping my eye on a few of them. Of course, Poland camp, it was another big one.
We have to talk about the Instant Classic, because we might have seen the best game of the year on day one. I don't know.
How about our owner, DJ Yoakley, on WFMJ, on YSN Power Hour yesterday, said to everybody, and no one listened to him, he was saying 51-50, and even he was low on that. Everyone said, no way on a week one game that they're seeing 100-plus points between two teams.
How about after all that offense, Ursuline's defense is what steps up and wins in the game.
And what did I say about Ursuline's defense? They had a little bit more returning, and I thought they were going to be the big time stop in that game.
They couldn't stop the run all day until it mattered. And I think Fitch has that last year. Remember against, was it Steubenville?
Steubenville. Well, yeah, what happened? I remember last year.
Couldn't stop the run all day. Steubenville lined up to go for two, and Fitch just bowed up for one play. And all it takes is one play.
Exactly, and that was a
great example of that.
That was another game that was back and forth, and then came down to just one play, and much of the same. But I mean, other than the fact that this might be Game of the Year candidate, and quite arguably one of the best Week 1 games we've ever seen in Division
Day
4,
one, like day
here.
one.
Yeah. But this is not only just a huge game, but this is a huge win for Ursuline now. I mean, we want to talk computer points going forward. They might have just set themselves up in Week 1 for a nice position in the playoffs. And of course, yeah, there's 9 weeks. You still got to win your games, but winning this Week 1 matchup against a very, very good Bishop Hartley team, you've definitely done yourself some favors going forward.
I think what they did is they put if it wasn't already on the map, they kind of firmly planted their flag in Division 4, saying, hey, regional runner-ups in Division 3, we did that. So,
well, I mean, especially too in Division 4, moving down the one division, Division 3 to Division 4, being that number 1 team ranked too, you have to prove something too. They knew they had to go out there. They had to get beat, at the very least, competitive, because if you go out there and you lay an egg against Hartley, that pretty much just says everything against what everyone's been predicting about you, saying that you're the number 1 team in the division and you should be going to state, or you should be making that deep playoff run. That kind of discredits everything. But no, Ursuline did not do that at all last night. Ursuline did what we expected them to do, was that 3-headed monster on offense. They utilized Ja'Kylan Irving, they utilized Dean Boyd, and Brady Shannon was throwing the ball well all night. And I mean, they did what they needed to do. The offense contended with Hartley, and the defense was just a little bit better.
Can we talk about how good Brady Shannon was yesterday?
I mean, he was absolutely phenomenal.
Hartley stopped the run. They'll give their defense credit for that. The Ursuline couldn't get much of a run game going. Brady Shannon said, okay, I'm just going to take this and just throw the rock around. Obviously, he has tons of weapons. Didn't matter. I mean, he was putting dimes out on the field. That one catch that we put on our Instagram in the middle of the game, it was such a good throw and catch into the corner of the end zone. Ja'Kylan Irving made the catch. It was oh man. Like, if you didn't think that Brady Shannon was one of the best quarterbacks in the area before, I think he kind of put his foot firmly into that toehold last night.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, we get to see even a couple more tonight, and Sherwood and Run Guard, and I mean, there's a lot more. But hey, you want to talk about some good quarterback play? Why don't we take a trip over to that Salem Crestview game and talk about Jackson Johnson and his receiving partner Blaze X-Line last night.
X-Line had himself a day, and he was my player to watch on the offense.
You did call X-Line, and I give it to
We
you.
both did. We just you picked him for defense, and I picked him for offense.
And I mean, X-Line again was huge. And I mean, again, and you know what? This was a game too that I did pick Crestview originally in, but I also remember saying on Running Point prior to that, if there's a turnover or if there's that 1 4th down and that other team gets that second score, you're putting yourself in a deep hole, because this is a team where either team was going to start piling on you. Salem got those first 2 scores, and Salem never looked back, and that's what happened. I mean, Crestview started coming back a little bit late there, but I think also the problem with Crestview in this game was they were new. They're coming in with a bunch of
at the end of the day, I think Crestview was just trying to replace too much to kind of compete with Salem at that point in the season.
For at least week 1. I think it's going to take a couple more weeks for guys to really know their position, get the things ironed out. I don't think Crestview needs to worry.
That's what the first 3 weeks are for. I mean, really, a lot of coaches are focused on winning the league first. These first 3 weeks, non-conference, you have the opportunity to really fix things, adjust things. 16 teams get in the playoffs, so 3 losses don't kill your playoffs hopes. So as long as Crestview is good to go on week 4 and they know exactly what their identity is and what they're good at and what to stay away from, I think Coach Cusick will be fine. And he's a great coach. So he'll get them ready to go. They just have to go through some – they're going to take their lumps, I think, in the first 3 weeks.
Yeah, and if I'm Crestview and I'm a Crestview fan right now, I am not concerned at all right now with the Rebels after week 1.
Yeah, we talked with Dana Ballish, especially with 16 teams. It is no time to hit the panic button if you're in Crestview.
Oh, absolutely not, especially with Crestview and the success they had last year. And you got to remember, you still have Cusick under center, and having Cusick under center is good enough for a lot of teams, and it's going to be good enough against a decent amount of teams as well. So you should be still optimistic. Yeah, tough loss, but you got to remember, this is a team too that's trying to replace a lot on defense too. So I mean, you got to get these guys up to speed and get these guys learning playbooks, because you got to remember, there's a lot of young pieces on that defense in Crestview. And
then we had a really interesting Canfield-Poland matchup, where when the game started, it looked like Poland was going to have control of that game. They worked a 8-minute drive in the first quarter. Their red zone offense was just not good. They didn't have enough red zone options, I felt like when they got in the red zone and Canfield's defense had less to cover, and it was just kind of all compact. Poland, I don't think they had a red zone option to go to. It felt like they kept getting to the red zone and then sputtering.
I think
either having to settle for field goals or go for it on 4th down and just giving the ball back to Canfield.
And I think for Poland going forward, because I thought Poland actually played a very good game defensively against a very tough.
Here's the thing. There was one route that worked all night for Canfield. They never adjusted to it. There's taking that seam route down the middle by the tight end. It was there all night. Brock Lowry was hitting it. So, I mean, that's the one thing I would say about Poland's defense. You played really well, but you got to make adjustments. You got to be able to see that one route is open all night. Sometimes Brock Lowry didn't even hit it, and it was still open.
Yeah.
You got to make adjustments to that.
And you expect Poland to make those adjustments defensively, but I think the bigger thing is on the offensive side, you got to open up that pass game a little bit more, and I think that was the biggest struggle we saw in Canfield is we talked about that too. The key to Poland winning that game, they had to establish the run so that way they could open up the pass a little bit. And that's what I said. They don't need to pass a lot, but they need to be effective.
By the way, Jack Fulton played really well.
He did.
Drive. There were a couple 3rd and longs that he just took it on his legs, and he ran for like 12 yards to get the first down.
And don't get me wrong, because
there were a couple of drop balls. There were a couple of drop balls for Jack Fulton, and you expect that in week 1, wide receivers are have a little bit of nerves and maybe their hands are shaking a little bit when they go to catch it. But yeah, there were a couple of balls that he put on the money that were dropped, and it happens.
Oh, absolutely, it happens. But I think that's definitely going to be the thing you're looking forward to improving going into the season. You're going to need to improve your passing game a little bit. You're going to need to improve pass offense a little bit. I think they played very well against a very, very good Canfield team, though.
Now we get to talk about it. How are these teams going to respond? We already know Poland can respond to a loss in week 1. They did it last year. Can they respond to losing this kind of emotional big game against Canfield? They have to bounce back and win in week 2. Canfield on the other end, they won. Can they not get themselves too high and still get up for week 2?
I think they will. And I I think this is a team that their front seven on defense is absolutely tremendous. And I think if you just keep on hanging your hats on that defense, you got to remember, and every coach will tell you, you don't win state in August. You win it at the end of the year.
Your
So
guy, Toby Smith, by the way, you picked him, had a great day at linebacker.
Fantastic game too. And I mean, exactly what you expect to Canfield wise. I mean, absolutely just a defensive tear for Canfield.
Their secondary was on the money too. There weren't a lot of guys that got loose in coverage. I mean, even the completed passes were really well covered.
Yeah, and I mean, this is where Canfield too. We talk about how effective Canfield's offense is. You have to mention the defense too of the Cardinals, because the
Bend but don't
Cardinals
break.
defense,
I mean, that's what it was. It was bend but don't break. They let they let Poland get into the red zone several times, but only one touchdown. So.
And I gotta figure, and you gotta feel that if you're polling going forward, yeah, you want to learn from this game, and you got to take this as a learning experience. But I think you hang your hat on the fact that you have a very good front seven on defense, and you hang your hat on the fact that week one is not going to matter in the long run. It didn't matter last year when you lost to South Range in a close one. Don't make it matter now. And especially now that there's 9 games ahead of you instead of 5, all the less important that one loss try to make one loss shape your season, because that's just not going to happen, I don't think, in Poland. Pick the Bulldogs to win. Came up a little bit short, but I do think that this is a Bulldogs team that is going to be very, very dangerous to play come midseason, especially with that front seven on defense.
All right, for the show today, any minute now, we're going to have Sean Guerrero hop on. He was scheduled for 12:15. It's 12:15, so any minute now he'll be popping on. We also have Fitch Girls soccer coach Samantha Marcio, and we also have the Springfield girls soccer captains, 3 seniors, Kayla Lamorticella, Gracie Venturella, and Kylie Medvik, all joining us. They'll join it at 1:30. Fitch girls soccer coach joining us at 12:45. So gonna have a fun show. The last hour, we're gonna do our pick'ems. We're gonna have our previews of all the 21 games tonight. Pick every one, and then Power Hour will do the same thing. They'll have pick'ems too. We might get some run over. We might actually get some people coming into Running Point to make picks, because Ty, everyone's about the picks. So how many times can I say picks in one sentence?
How many picks are we going to see tonight is the question by these defenses. Yeah. How many picks tonight by the defense? Over under Skittles for our high school team.
All about the Skittles.
Oh, yeah. We're about Skittles and picks here at YSN.
So yeah, last hour of the show, we'll have our picks for the games tonight. And then Power Hour will have almost a show that's almost completely dedicated to picking the games tonight as well. And we're going to have a fun Friday.
Oh, absolutely. Always a fun Friday. And that's all right before we get you kicked off with
and then
so many games in the area.
Of course, right after us, Power Hour. And then about 6:50-ish, 6:45, 6:50, Audible Call with Mike Ackelson comes on. Get you ready for kickoff. And then the 21 games on the network tonight kick off at 7 o'clock. And then after that, Joe Dickey Electric Scoreboard, which is going to be like 10-ish. Right after the games, we'll have coach interviews, results, analysis from Mike Ackelson. And then after that, our partners at 21 FMJ have the 21 overtime report. So we got you covered from us and WFMJ. We have you covered from now until midnight. So buckle up. Buckle up
on the weekends, and don't forget, you wake up bright and early Saturdays to some early volleyball matchup tomorrow morning.
I won't forget. And we also have Jackson Milton football tomorrow from Toledo University. DJ's making that trip.
Yep. And then of course, too, Sunday, you're probably going to see content dropping, or throughout the weekend, you're going to see content dropping on the YouTube page, on the homepage of the website. So just keep your eyes open. There's always content coming your way.
I just let people know we have 30 of our football previews up on the site right now. Still some to get through, and we'll get through them as many as possible. I mean, we go off at 3. I'm going to get a couple up before kickoff. And we'll continue to post them, but we're going to have all of our previews up on the site at some point. And then, volleyball previews will come up right after that. So we're going to be, content's going to be coming up. Don't worry.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, just keep checking the site, keep checking the YouTube pages, content constantly being dumped on both
Hit that
those.
subscribe button on the YouTube channel, and also hit the notifications bell because there's a lot of videos popping up. YouTube's kind of funky. You might miss a video here and there. So if you want to make sure that you see all the interviews, all the previews, all the stories that we have on YouTube, hit that notifications bell so you're always notified when a new video pops up on our YouTube channel.
Yep, absolutely. And I mean, that's
That's
the
what
way
I
to
want. That's what I want. That graphic that has like, you'll see YouTubers that have it. The little subscribe button comes up, and then the bell comes up, and you hear that ding ding.
what I wish we could do, and I wish YouTube would make the capability of doing that. If we could separate each team so that way people can subscribe to only videos released by that team or videos only released.
We
by that
could.
team. We could do that on YSN, obviously.
I'm the social media director, but I could go in and make a different YouTube channel for every team.
Or we could do just playlists too. We could just make a playlist for each team.
That's a lot of work, Ty.
Yeah, that's a lot of work.
You're killing me. But
I could do. I'll go into a YouTube channel and just start making playlists.
It's a very good idea, and the thing about good ideas,
very good idea that we should have done a lot.
Good ideas equal a lot of work.
Yeah,
and I'm not trying to sound lazy. We're good. That might be a future idea. We're gonna put that on. We're gonna put.
As we know, we're busy and we brainstorm a lot here at YSN to just try.
We're gonna put a pin in it. This show is like 50% interviews, 50% brainstorming for what we can do in the future.
I mean, it's your perfect mix of Barstool and ESPN for a beautiful marriage of that made YSN. So we're our own unique brand and our own unique thing. Nothing like us out there, and you won't find anything similar to us out there.
You're not going to find anything similar to Sean Guerrero, who's about to pop in on Running Point here as we bring him in, the head coach of Springfield football. We definitely appreciate him popping on game day. Coach, thank you so much for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
It's game day. What are you going through right now? I mean, you obviously have the time to come on with us, but I imagine a very busy Friday on week one.
Yeah, we already brought our kids in this morning just to go over a couple of details. We usually go over our special teams just to make sure the guys are up and moving around. I really don't want them sleeping, all morning. So we brought them in. I think they normally go out to breakfast or do something. And then hopefully they'll be relaxing right now and drinking some water and thinking about their assignments.
I imagine that's something different. Obviously, when school starts, they'll be engaged the whole school day, and then you won't have to worry about that.
Yeah, I think we're almost in week 3 before that happens. So I think this is something our kids are kind of used to. Just being able to chill and relax a little bit. Like I said, they kind of started traditions of when I bring them in to go out to breakfast, spend some time with each other. So I think it's a positive thing for for these first 3 weeks.
Talk to me about the matchup that never happened that we're going to get to see bright and early week 1 this season with South Range. Preview the Raiders a little bit and what we're expecting to see from this game tonight.
Well, I give a lot of credit to Coach Yeagley and the program he ends up running. He does a great job. Offensively, I think they're going to try to establish the run and work some play action and pass off of that. Defensively, they fly to the football. Their linebackers get downhill. Their D-line keeps those linebackers free. And then the secondary, they're very solid. Their special team game is always good and a positive thing for us. So for us, week 1, I think this is going to be one of the biggest tests that we've had in a long time. So I just think they're a very good, solid football team. The team that makes the most mistakes, I think it'll be the team that ends up losing.
Talk to me about this rivalry and what it means to both communities and what it's like having it kind of back. It took a year hiatus last year because we not a lot of non-conference games. Talk about what it means to each community and what it's like to have it back for week 1 in the new season.
I just think, communities are very similar. I think a lot of the kids are involved, whether that's through football, cheerleading, band. I think that's a big part of it where there's the community comes together. And I think the most I'm excited about is having a packed house. I think they will travel well. I think our community will end up being there. So I'm just excited for the atmosphere for a week 1. For having everything that happened last year. I'm just, and even seeing the Poland and Canfield game last night, just seeing people there and the cheer, the crowd, and that kind of stuff, I think is going to be amazing.
It's hard to say a team that's been to state the last 2 years can find something to improve on, but we know the best coaches usually try to find that. So, Coach Guerrero, I guess my biggest question is, what is the biggest thing Springfield was looking to improve on going into this offseason before this season starts?
I think you kind of said that we can't rely on that. We played in the state championship, in the past 2 years. That's something that we don't discuss. We don't talk about. We have a new team this year. We have new kids that have to step up. We have new kids that have new roles. So it's a whole new challenge in that. We got to make sure we're solid up front. And I think as the season goes on, one thing for us is that we have to build some depth through these first couple weeks if we want to end up, making a run in the playoffs. So being in the state championship game has nothing to do with this year's team. That's our ultimate goal, is to end up playing in that game. But there's a lot of different challenges and things that we have to do, whether that's staying focused week to week. But I know right now I'm playing South Range in week 1. Our kids are excited for it. Our kids, have been working for that because we didn't play last year. So I just think our kids have to maintain and still stay focused from week to week.
I'm sure that was a huge conversation last year coming off the first state championship game. Now that they've already gone through a season where they've went to a state championship game and they're coming back and they have to start a new season, are you less concerned with their mental fortitude to take every game seriously? And because they've already proven they could do it last year, because that was one of the conversations last year we had, how Springfield going to handle coming off of a state championship run? Can they go week to week and focus each week? But you guys absolutely did every week last season. So I imagine this year it's not as much of a concern because your kids have already proven they can wash out that run and realize that they're a new team this year.
Yeah, and going through it, hopefully we'll learn from the experiences that we have or any negative thing that we have. So we have to make sure we're getting better, in everything. And that could be our travel, our work, from Monday through Thursday. And I think that's the most important. I think our senior leadership this year has been great in just keeping the kids focused and making sure that we're doing everything we can throughout Monday through Thursday to end up getting better. And I think the senior class has done that. I always end up saying our senior class is going to take us as far as we want to go. And this group seems focused. This group wants to work hard. I think this group does a great job and kind of just setting the tone for our kids. And it's been so quick without having this kind of second week of doubles. It really hasn't been a lot of time to end up focusing maybe on the little things. I think that's the thing that us as coaches is maybe we wish we had another day to kind of just work on technique and things of that nature. So it's stuff where our kids have done a good job and maintained, but I'm hoping maybe over the past 2 years and getting those 10 extra weeks of practice that'll end up paying off this year.
Talk to me a little bit about the senior leaders that you have on your team, Coach, and highlight why you're excited to play with them this year.
Well, I think offensively, I think everybody kind of looks at Bo. He does a great job in commanding that huddle and doing those, little things first. But I think, AJ Stallsmith, Zeke Worsencroft, two guys up front that have been returning starters for us on that offensive line. It kind of set the tone for us in practice and making sure we're moving in the right direction and we're not going through the motions. Joey Sandine and Bo Snyder are in the backfield this year. They've done a good job. Offensively, you got Jay Joyce, Nick Slike. I think I can name every senior almost and end up talking about their leadership one way or the other, whether it's defense or offense. And I think something that's unique about this class was with 16 seniors, when we voted for captains with our team, every one of our seniors, had votes. And I think that kind of gives them credit to know what they bring every day and how they end up, taking on practice and things of that nature. So we got a very good group of seniors right now that show up and they're ready to work.
Talk a little bit, you have a lot of players that everybody knows. You have a lot of names that people have been familiar with for the last 2 years. Talk about some new faces that people might see that we have to look out for this year and some people that are up and coming on your team.
Oh gosh, we are a pretty senior-laced team, but I think Shondell Gardner is a kid who's had a great kind of preseason. He plays wide out in DB. I think his route running and the effort that he gives has been remarkable at that point at wide out and trying to improve that group and with losing Clay and Lucas those kind of guys from last year's group. I think he's done a great job in stepping up and taking on that role. Joey Sandine was a kid who played DB for us, but has taken on a running back role for us, who I think has done a good job. You're going to see Ethan Dunkel in our linebacking core. Aaron Groner played, but he kind of played a couple different positions that he kind of played. Outside linebacker, DN. He's going to be our middle backer. So he was our tight end last year, but I don't know if you really heard his name too much. Marshall Yelkin's another kid who was a one-way starter for us. It's going to be a 2-year starter for us. In looking at those things, we got a couple underclassmen like Lucas DeTillo is going to start for us up front. He'll end up doing a fantastic job. Jake Newell is another senior kid that stepped up this year that's going to be on the offensive line and defensive line. Jake Needham will be a kid that will end up making plays for us defensively and offensively. There's a lot of kids that are going to step up, and that's what we talk about, kind of that next guy up or next man up mentality when it's your turn to make a play or make sure your assignment's sound or to end up doing that. We talk about that, whether that's, you know what I mean, you're Bo Brungard or the freshman that is the first time you've experienced, you know what I mean, high school football. So we just got to take that mentality and making sure we never know who, you know what I mean, who needs to make a play for us, but you never know what will happen throughout the game.
We know every team is nothing without a strong community and fan base backing them, Coach. So talk to me a little bit about what it's going to mean for you to have the Springfield faithful loaded into the stadium tonight against South Range.
I know how much, you know, I mean, people ended up, whether we were fighting for tickets last year or who was saving them or who could get them or could we get them off the other team. I'm so excited for that. I mean, I feel like we have one of the best stadiums for a smaller school. The atmosphere is fantastic. Again, our band and cheerleaders do a fantastic job with that. So I'm so excited to walk onto the field, you know what I mean, that 7 minutes before game time and hear that crowd for the first time, like, you know, like we heard 2 years ago. So I'm so excited. And the backing that we have, starting with our school administration, things of that nature are great. I know from our principals and stuff and our superintendent, when you see kids walking down the hallways, everybody's, you know, be known by the first name, and that's whoever you are. So I just feel grateful I'm in the position that I am, you know, I mean, the school district that I am, that the community in the school just backs the program.
Communities don't get enough love, and we know the coaching staffs don't get enough love either. You talk about the people you have working with you and the staff that you have that make your job a little bit easier and make this program run.
Well, I do. I always try to compliment the guys that I work with. Those guys put a lot of time in, but I'd put my staff up against everybody. I mean, one of the main guys I count on is Adam Slopek. He's our DC. He kind of does the weight room. I shouldn't say kind of does. He does do our weight room stuff. I mean, I think he does a great job with bringing that, you know what I mean, mentality for our defense to make sure when we step on the field, I mean, our kids are ready. Offensively, we got Mark Brungard, who's the offensive coordinator. He does a great job, and what he does, obviously, I mean, coming from Poland. I mean, he was a great, you know what I mean, head coach there. I got Bill Miller, who's been a head coach at Salem, but he does a great job for what he brings. Joey Antonucci has been on our staff for, I think 14 years. I got Kyle McCree, who's been with us, I think, for his third or fourth year. I think it's his fourth year with us. He's a Poland kid that has come on. Mark brought him over, who's been a great, young, excellent coach. And then we just picked up Mike Popio, a guy who was on the Boardman staff last year. So to be able to pick up a guy with, I mean, almost 40 years of experience has definitely improved our staff. But those guys do a great job at preparing our kids and making sure there's really no egos in our coach's office. We just want to be able to make sure that we put our kids in the best, you know, position that we can end up succeeding. So, like I said, I'd put our staff up against anybody right now. I feel like I'm very fortunate to have those guys and going to work every day and just making sure we have that common goal and just beating, you know, I mean, our next opponent and going week by week.
Not many teams encounter this where they have such a senior heavy squad. And for that, I mean, you usually take time, it feels like, to reflect, coaches do when they have those special years when it's very senior led. Is there a team motto or anything going into this year, and just reflect on your coaching experience with these boys the last few years and what some of your favorite parts of that have been?
Well, I think with our motto that they came up with something that was on our T-shirt. I don't want to end up misquoting it, but I think these kids have been in the situation of everybody says, well, you guys won the state championship the past 2 years. Yeah. these kids want to win. You know, I mean, that's their ultimate goal. And that's kind of, I've said this the past couple of years when we end up missing the playoffs and going 9-1. But you end up, you know, I mean, missing that opportunity. These kids have the mentality that they want to win one. So we all know it starts with week one and goes week by week, but you want to end up, you know what I mean, winning the league. And I think in our league, if you definitely win the league, you know what I mean, going from, you know, I mean, 8 playoff teams, that was something where you almost guaranteed yourself a playoff spot. So I think these kids, for hard to say, they have a chip on their shoulder. They want to win the big game. They put the work in. They do a lot of extra things on their own time to make sure that they're putting themselves in position, whether that's getting an extra set or lifting on their own time or doing that kind of stuff. So I know it's hard to say, but these kids got a chip on their shoulder where they want to win one. They don't want to be the team that played in the state championship. They want to be the team that ends up winning one.
We know, especially in football, development of kids before they get to high school is so important. Talk about your junior high programs and even younger, and how important it is to get these kids developed before they get to you as freshmen.
Well, I do think, and I think it's important to have coaches, you know, that are in the building, you mean on your staff, and we're fortunate enough to end up doing that and having those guys. Little Tigers program, I think our numbers down there were in the 40s. Which is a great number. I think we're over 30 in our junior high program. And right now we have the most that we've had on our team, on our varsity team. We have 60 kids on our roster. I kind of want to give hats off to our athletic director, because I just want our kids playing games. I think right now we might have 6 freshman games. We'll play hopefully an 8 or 9 JV schedule. As long as our kids are playing football and getting better and getting that opportunity, I think that's the key about it. So from Little Tigers on up, they continue to play. They continue to get a chance to get better. And I definitely think that has been the improvement about our overall program, just getting kids to play. And it's hard right now with the Division VI school to get freshman games because a lot of schools don't have them. So I think that freshman year, our kids go into it. And we're playing right now, I think it's Poland, Struthers, South Range, West Branch, Beaver Local, where we're playing up in those games. So it's a challenge for those kids to make sure that we're sound up front and we know what we're doing and assignment wise. But as long as they're playing, they're getting better, and hopefully after a couple of years of that, they're ready to play at the varsity level.
I think there's no doubt what you've done with Springfield the last few years, Coach, has been truly incredible. But my final question for you, looking past the X's and O's a little bit, talk to me a little bit about the lessons you try to teach your kids that are outside the realm of football.
Well, I think football is a special thing because it has a lot of discipline that carries it. These kids are going to end up maybe realizing, 5 years from now when they got a job and they're showing up, on time. And I try to be a person who keeps them on task and keep, making them accountable for what they do. I think that's something. But the relationship, if you talk to anybody, even the kids, or I remember last year when they did this, the kids all had to give a word that described me, and it was always goofy or silly. I have a great time with our kids. I think we have a good relationship from our staff and relationship on that thing, because when they score, something good happens, and we're celebrating with the kids. And there's a little kid inside me that ends up coming out when on the sidelines and things of that nature. So I think the relationship that we build, the atmosphere that we build, is we want to have fun with our kids, but when it's time to work, it's time to work. But those things that the kids will learn on just being disciplined and accountable, I think, are those lifelong lessons that'll go along with them for the rest of their lives.
I think anyone that knows the time constraints of a high school coach knows you have to have a passion for it to keep doing it. What gives you the passion for coaching, and what gives you the passion for the sport that makes you keep coming back and keep up the career?
For me, I love waking up every morning and dealing with kids. That's something where I know a lot of people that kind of go to work and they really don't like it or they don't enjoy it. When I get up, I love going to school. I love being around the kids and having the common goal of what we want to do here at Springfield is something where I think that relates. Our kids do senior speeches throughout doubles. And things that we end up doing it, whether they pick a hero, they pick a word that best describes our team, and then they pick a challenge. But if you would hear what these kids end up saying to our kids, it's absolutely amazing. We talk about the common goal and how they've bought into the program. the kids make it easy when you can go to work and you're smiling and laughing with the kids. That's one thing that I would end up saying over my career of being a football coach. This is something for me where this has probably been the best time of my life that I've had with the kids. And I know winning ends up producing that, but you build relationships with the kids, and even seeing the kids coming back that have been out of the program, that have kind of built this thing, whether that's supporting a fundraiser we have or coming to our golf outing or things of that nature. It's great to see those guys come back and still be a part of the program, or still want to be a part of the program. I think that's something that's special to me, to see these kids succeed and being a productive person in the community here at Springfield. It kind of seems like these guys want to hang around and still be a part of it, which I love.
Coach, thank you so much for taking the time to join us on game day. We know your time is probably limited today. We appreciate it. We look forward to covering you all season. Good luck tonight. We can't wait for the return of the rivalry between South Range and Springfield.
Hey, thanks for having me. I appreciate what you guys do, and how you're handling this. So thank you guys.
All right, Coach Sean Guerrero of the Springfield Tigers getting ready for what we could call a pretty big game tonight between South Range and Springfield. I don't think that would be short selling it. Ty's muted.
Yep, there it is again. I mute myself usually because I don't want any noise problems when Coach is on. So I always forget to unmute myself. But no, I think honestly going into this season, everyone knows the Bishop Hartley and Ursuline was that big game last night. But the big one in the area, because of just proximity wise, was Poland Campfield for Thursday night, and for Friday night, it's easily going to be South Range and Springfield. Even though I will contend my dark horse candidate is going to be Fitch and Cheney tonight, as going to be a very good game as well.
I think it's just because everyone wanted this game last year. I mean, you should have seen the comments and the things that we got on YSN. Like, they
tried to get it scheduled in between the playoffs and the regular season. And
yeah,
that's how bad they wanted it.
People were telling us, it's like, we have no control. We can't schedule a game.
We're trying to get us to schedule a game. We couldn't schedule a game, and we would love to. Believe me, we would love to put South Range and Springfield. If we had fantasy matchups where we could make the schedule in the area, you know how much fun we'd have with that?
Different teams, different players, of course. No team's the exact same from year to year, but we're getting the reinstallment of the rivalry. Last time they played, went into overtime at South Range. Springfield won, so it promises to be a good one. We will take a quick break. On the other end, Samantha Marcio, head coach of the Fitch girls soccer team, will be joining us. Don't go anywhere. On Running Point on YSN Live, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
At Greenwood Chevrolet, shop with confidence knowing we're ready to go the extra mile for you. With the largest selection of used vehicles in the Valley, backed by the Greenwood Advantage Warranty. Only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
New things happen all day. Some are good, some not so good. In today's complicated world, while you're busy working, playing, and living life, we're busy helping you make sense of the day's news. And there's only one place where it comes together with clarity, context, and accountability. It's 21 News at 6 with me, Madison Tromler, and Derek Steyer.
21 News at 6. It's what the day's news really means to you.
Welcome home to a home made homier with Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods. Inspiration starts at BairdBrothers.com and is turned into reality when high-quality hardwoods are delivered right to your home. Baird Brothers has the latest design trends: shiplap and skinny lap interior siding, antique oak rustic flooring, and, well, you'll find them all at BairdBrothers.com. Ordered easily, delivered conveniently, enjoyed comfortably. BairdBrothers.com.
WRS Wealth Advisors, the area's premier wealth and retirement specialists. Located on South Avenue in Boardman.
Hi, this is Jim Myers with Myers Family Insurance, your local Medicare and retirement resource. We're excited to have sports back. Whether you're on the field or cheering from the stands, sports unifies communities and brings hope for the future. We're all one team working together. At Myers Family Insurance, we know the importance of a great team.
Our team continues to grow to help you with your Medicare and retirement needs.
The annual election period is October 15th through December 7th. Now's the time to make sure your plan continues to meet your needs for the upcoming year.
Call today.
Hi, I'm Colin Chupa. And I'm Kelsey Clem from K-Squared Marketing. Our boutique marketing firm specializes in media planning and buying, public relations, event marketing strategies, and strategic sponsorships. We can integrate our services with your existing game plan, or we can be your entire marketing team. Your goals, our game plan. Let's win together. Call K-Squared Marketing at 330-623-2730 or visit ksquared.marketing to learn more.
Every customer has a story, and at Greenwood Chevrolet, we are committed to making sure it ends with you in the right vehicle. I get to be part of somebody's adventure, whether it's buying a car for the first time, helping them get approved, or finding the perfect car for their budget. I'm proud that people trust me with their finances. They trust me to take care of them, and they trust me with their story. I'm Tracy, and I'm ready to go the extra mile for you, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Quality, customer service, and integrity. Those are the 4 words that have driven our success since 1957 at Joe Dickey Electric.
Joe Dickey Electric is one Mahoning Valley landmark business that stays current with the requirements of our customers. Family owned and managed, we are an electrical contractor and energy solutions provider. Every member of our team adds to his or her skill set through ongoing training. Residential, commercial, industrial, automotive, and more. We keep ahead of the needs of our customers with a fleet of more than 50 vehicles and 24/7 emergency service, so you're never left in the dark.
Jimmy Sudman here, Director of Isle, Purple Cat, and Golden String. We are happy to support YSN and 2 of my favorite people, Scotty Mincher and Super Dave O'Malley. We are an agency that provides services for adults with disabilities. We infuse humor, passion, and joy into their lives. If you know of any folks with disabilities that need our assistance, please contact us.
Your teams work hard and give it all they've got. Well, so does ours, because 21 Sports and YSN give you extra effort when covering local sports. 21 Sports and YSN, winning coverage of our Valley's teams.
Welcome back to the Friday edition of Running Point on YSN, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. They go the extra mile for you. Joining us, Ty Bartell as always, but also Samantha Marcio, the head coach of the girls soccer team at Austintown Fitch. Coach, thank you so much for taking the time to join us.
Hi, thanks for having us.
So let's talk a little bit about what you're returning this year and what you're so excited about the Falcons in this 2021 season.
Yeah, I think, we definitely had a normal summer this year for the most part, where we were able to kind of get back to it early on in June and July, where last year we didn't have that. So I think we definitely are coming into the season well prepped and prepared, unlike last year.
Preview this upcoming matchup with Howland. What are we looking at with the Tigers, and what do we expect here from the Falcons?
Yeah, it's one of those games that you're always excited to play, and it just happens to be our home opener as well. We've been working really hard to kind of prep for the game and this season, and it's kind of it's nice to jump into a big game right off the bat, but also a little stressful and things that we're trying to work on and get prepared for before the big game. We're still working through some minor injuries that we had going in early on. And so we're making some adjustments and trying out new things, and girls are still learning to play new positions and adjusting as we head into the season.
Leadership is obviously so important. Talk about the leaders that you're going to lean on this year and how important they'll be to the team.
Yeah, so we have currently one captain, and Moira George. She has definitely taken the leadership role heading into the season and kind of stepped up, has really pushed the team as a whole, from our freshmen to our other seniors. And we have found that the girls have really leaned towards her, and she's really pushed them to kind of put in their best effort every practice and scrimmage that we've had. We also have 4 other seniors, and, it's nice to have a good group of girls that are there to enjoy their senior year and push a team forward.
I think there's no doubt that in the Austintown community, soccer is pretty huge, especially in girls soccer. So talk to me a little bit about the youth that you have and how much they participate, as well as the community involvement for the sport.
Yeah, we're super fortunate to have the Austintown Community Soccer League and travel teams that are coming up. You know, we look forward to their help. They've helped us. You know, our girls help throughout the springtime, and we work with them consistently, and we look to get girls to come out and beat ball girls and get them involved as early on as we can. And it's led us to have a pretty good group of freshmen each year coming in and wanting to continue to be part of the Falcon program and just excited to be there. We've also had girls that'll come work out with us, you know, incoming 8th graders and things like that will come work out through the summer months and just trying to get a sneak peek of what they're in for in the upcoming years.
You know, you're also getting ready for back to school as a teacher, 3rd grade, I believe, right? I'm not.
I just moved my room back to 1st grade.
1st grade. So, what's it like going from working with 1st graders to going and coaching the varsity level high school soccer?
You know, I would like to say that they're very different, but they're not. You know, it's just nice to work with the community here in Austintown and be a part of the little ones. And you see those eager 1st graders that want to come in and learn, and then to work with the high school girls, you know, in the afternoon after work. And it just still comes together that they're here for the community. They're here for their team. They're here for Fitch. They're, you know, those Falcon pride, like you see it from the little ones to then working at practice. And the girls laugh and they always have stories for them, you know, heading into practice. And it's nice to have that different age group.
Speaking of stories, talk about your sports story and your story with coaching and what led you to the Austintown soccer program.
Yeah, so I have been with Austintown program for 5 or 6 years now. I started as the JV coach here, and I work with Bill Spencer and Heather Stinson are my 2 assistant coaches now. I stepped into the varsity role last year, which I'll tell you, stepping into that varsity role heading into a COVID season was definitely an adjustment for the team, for the girls, for myself and the coaching staff, and kind of reorganizing ourselves. And anytime you get a new coaching staff, wherever it is or whatever team, and how you change your coaching roles is adjustment for the team as a whole. And we're still working through those, and we're still working through some growing pains, and that will, I think, continue for the next few years, but it is definitely headed in a positive and right direction.
Other than obviously, you know, all the COVID-19 stuff that occurred last year, what was the one thing about stepping into that varsity level job that was maybe different than you expected, harder than you expected, or kind of surprised you about what went on with it?
You know, I think that setting those expectations, now we've always had high expectations as long as I've been here for the girls, but just that different role and getting the girls to see that different role the coaching staff has was an adjustment and definitely a different task, but I've had great staff, you know, that has helped me through that. Bill Spencer has definitely helped fill in some of those gaps, things I wasn't sure of, things that needed to be done, all that backstage stuff that most people don't see. That is definitely the most taxing part of all of it, is because that has to get done. Someone has to do it. And usually it falls on the head coach role, and finding those people to delegate and make sure that everything's getting done behind the scenes, as well as coaching. You know, you're there to coach and bring home some wins, and it just adds to the pile.
I mean, stepping into a varsity level coaching position in a COVID-19 year is definitely not ideal, but talk to me about something you learned about yourself as a coach from that experience.
Oh boy. You know, I think that I've learned over the years, you know, I've been coaching for many years, that the times have changed. Girls have changed. What motivates them, what pushes them is not the same. And I think that's definitely something I've learned as a coach in trying to still navigate through that and how to push them to be a winning team and want that winning spirit for themselves and just every day in life. We're here for soccer, obviously, but I want the girls to understand, this applies to their life and as they move forward. And I think finding those things that motivate them and get them to acknowledge that about themselves has definitely changed. And that's definitely something and an adjustment I've had to make.
We ask all of our soccer coaches this because soccer is so unique in the fact that once that whistle blows, coach doesn't really have too much control over what goes on. There's no timeouts. You can't get your team in a huddle. Other than halftime making a couple adjustments, it's pretty much hoping that they're prepared and hoping they execute the game plan. From your perspective, what's that like coaching during the game on the soccer field?
I feel like I've always been one that I want to believe in them. I want to trust them that they're going to go out there and do what they need to do. And that's kind of the spiel I give them before every game is that I cannot be out there for them. Us as coaches cannot be out there coaching and scream. They're not going to hear you. They don't. I can scream till I'm blue in the face and they're not going to hear half of what I am trying to address to them. And, especially this year, we're heading into a season where we don't have very many subs. Our rosters are pretty low. And I don't even have, that time to pull one girl or two and say, hey, this is what we need to do. And we need to, put you back in and do it. And they are going to have to learn this season that they need to make those adjustments on their own and on the fly and finding that leadership. I'm hoping from my captain and on-field play from them, that it has to come from the girls.
Looking on that on-field play a little bit, what is the biggest thing you're hoping to improve with the team from last year to this year?
Yeah, I think we've made some adjustments as our formation to match kind of our new roles girls are playing. And we're hoping that we can kind of push forward and keep that possession play going and work on that and kind of navigate in the way of pressuring up top and keeping the ball with us and doing better at getting some shots off and more shots on goal, because the more we can do that and execute that, hopefully we can put some more balls back in the net and rely more on our offense than sit back on our defense.
In that same fashion, what do you think is going to be a strength of this team this year? If you had to pick like one thing that you guys are going to be really good at.
I think our center midfielders have really found a click with them. They've really found a way to possess the ball out of the middle. And I think if we can use that to drive our force in our offense, I think we'll be great. We have Bailey Baker, who has been one of our leading scorers, and she has been working nonstop, working on her shots off the field after practices. And I think it's going to pay off for us and for her. And I think we can rely on that center midfield to kind of push our team together.
And this is a question I usually like asking all coaches, especially the first time talking to them. What is your favorite thing about coaching, and what is your favorite thing about coaching this group of girls?
I think that my favorite thing about coaching is that I still get involved in a game that I've loved since I was little, and it is such a different role than playing. And to be honest, I think I like it better. I like to be on the sidelines and push them and motivate them and hopefully find some success. And it just keeps me involved in the game that I've grown to love and still love and find new ways to enjoy it. With this group of girls, I can honestly say they make me laugh. This group this year, they make me laugh every day. Now, sometimes I have to say they drive me crazy and we run quite a bit, but they come to school. They're a good group of girls who want to work and they find humor in a lot of things. And I appreciate that for them. I appreciate that they come and want to, talk to the coaching staff and they want to enjoy conversations with us. And I like that about them.
And you have that coaching mentality. What would you as a coach tell younger you as a player if you could give yourself some advice in a time machine?
Oh boy, I wish I would have told myself to work a little harder. I can honestly say I tell them that all the time, and I think I wish I would have taken my own advice. Pushed a little bit harder when I played in high school, and just embrace the time together with your teammates. It comes and goes so fast, and the years fly, and even coaching. These girls, before you know it, they come in as freshmen, and then they are standing there as your 5 seniors, and they get caught up in the world. And I wish I could just tell them, slow down and enjoy it, because you do miss it.
My final question for you is not really even a question. It's going to be more of just putting a spotlight on you in the program. For any young females that may be watching, listening, talk to them, talk about why soccer is a good program to get involved in at a young age.
It's all about the team, and it's about learning to work hard and to strive for something. And, we've kind of, as a program, adopted commit, strive, compete. And I think that, I pick those words with the team and the coaching staff because it really follows you in the team, in the real world. And getting involved in soccer is just such a great way to keep moving and finding something to do and love. And I have to say that for all sports, not even just soccer, is finding something you love to do and finding that spare time to fill your spare time with. And I think it is great for young girls to get involved and then give back and find a role in coaching or training, or, and giving back to even those younger players that want to come out and giving us something to look forward to.
Before we let you go, let's talk about your schedule as a whole. We already talked about that Howland game, but I know there's a lot of tough teams on your schedule. Talk about the challenges ahead and what excites you so much about it, and also how much it will prepare you for the postseason.
We talk about that all the time as a team, and I've been pushing to the girls that our schedule is tough, but in my eyes, and something I try to let the team know, is that it's all prep for the postseason. We are going to push and we're going to work and we're going to come across some tough teams. We start off the season with Howland, and then we run into Lake and Mentor the first 3 games. And that's a tough opening 2 weeks. And especially with the start of school, we know how crazy that gets. And, I tell them all the time, we're working, each game for the district final. We're working now for playoffs. Everything we come across, every struggle we're going to work through, and we're going to get better, and we're going to watch film, and we're going to make ourselves better at practice and work towards an end goal. That schedule is tough this year. And I think it's going to help us, though, in pay off in the playoff season, putting the effort in now and the struggles now for later.
Coach, thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate your time on a Friday, and we look forward to covering you all season and talking to you again real soon.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
All right, that was the head coach of the Fitch girls soccer team, Samantha Marcio, joining us on a Friday where it's football and football Friday, because we have some girls soccer captains later on the show. So all football, just depending on how you want to pronounce it.
Yeah, we got all areas of football covered, American style and internationally.
We're all good. We love the football. Both.
Yeah. Oh yeah, here, and especially on Fridays. Fridays here on YSN, we're huge.
When you talk Fitch girls soccer, she's right. That schedule is just a monster of a schedule for Fitch, but it will prepare them for postseason.
Yeah, I think it will as well. I mean, and that's the biggest thing too. And Fitch looks to usually schedule up and just get themselves ready for the playoffs when that time rolls around. And I think no doubt this season again, Fitch is doing the same thing.
And one of the things about their schedule, by the way, a lot of teams that they're going to be seeing in that bracket in the postseason. So they're going to be playing a lot of teams that they're going to be hopefully seeing later on in the bracket. So shouldn't be a lot of surprises in that postseason for Fitch.
Yeah, you want to get a little bit of an appetizer of the teams you're going to be looking to face when that postseason rolls around. And it's good for Fitch. And it's smart for Fitch to get that look at an opponent, get some film, and get some in-game experience for a lot of these girls, too. I think it's going to be huge, too, to get them that look and get them those looks to know what they have coming up against them once postseason rolls around.
Especially because, like she said, they're going to have some girls that are stepping into new positions this year because of some off-season injuries, especially in the beginning of the season. So maybe a different looking Fitch team than you expected coming into the summer.
Yeah, I think so as well. And I think, good coaching staff there. And it's a program, like I said, that usually has a lot of involvement in it. And I think, what she said too, they have a smaller roster. I don't know if there's just a gap going on, because what I thought too, I've always seen that the youth soccer in Austintown is phenomenal, and there's always all those leagues going on. And I know Austintown youth soccer is huge, and I think it might just be a little bit of a lag year, and that happens in certain sports too. You have certain lag years where 2 years there's not huge involvement, and that's just because kids have different interests, or maybe a certain sport is popular at a time. But
and that's the thing, like the youth soccer in Fitch could be really good right now. We're not going to see that for another 4 or 5 years at the high school level.
So, sometimes you go through those little lag periods, but I think they have a great coaching staff and just great minds there in Austintown, especially with the soccer program. They put the right coaches in the right position. And the coaches in Austintown, I can always say, what I've witnessed, they've always been passionate. They've always had a love for the sport, and they've always been really good with the kids. And I don't think there's any exception here.
I love that she's the head coach for the head coaches that were head coaches when she started the program. So just to make that a little bit less confusing, she started as a JV coach. Now the head coach at that point is now her assistant. So the staff is staying the same. They just have kind of switched roles a little bit. So now
that's really unique.
Coach is the assistant.
And that's unique, and that shows there is no egos within the Austintown, that coaching triangle, that they care about one thing and what's best for the kids. And if that doesn't show you that their whole highlight and their spotlight is on the kids, I don't know what else would.
And I think the biggest thing is that you said no egos. A lot of coaches would just try to hold on to that position. Obviously, the Fitch head coach got into a conversation. I can't handle the time load that it takes to be a head coach. I still want to be a part of the program. We'll just switch it around and say our JV coach can step into the head coaching role. I'm going to stay on as an assistant, not as much time and responsibility as I used to have. And for whatever, so I think that's a smart move from everybody. It shows zero ego in that coaching room.
I think so as well. And it just shows that how good of coaches that Austintown usually puts in these positions. And again, the good trio and good group, I should say, of coaches in the Austintown soccer program, especially for the girls team, and no exception.
My favorite part of that whole interview was, I'd like to say that they're different than first graders, but they're not. So
I'm sure there is a lot of similarities that you could take away, but I was thinking of questions
about that. You spend time with athletes at the high school level. They take the games and the practices so seriously that when they relax, when their brains relax, it's almost like you're in a room with a bunch of first graders.
Just having fun, man. That's all they're doing. They're just having a good time.
That's all that matters, is having fun. And Fitch will open the season with Howland, and then, like she said, it gets really hard Lake and Maslin after that. So we're going to be keeping an eye on Fitch girls soccer. We appreciate her taking the time to join us today, and maybe we'll get her captain on a little bit later on in the year. We love having captains on. We're going to have more captains on today as part of our Captain's Quarters initiative. We've been having captains on for the last couple of weeks. Today, it's going to be the Springfield girls soccer captains, Kayla Lamorticella, Gracie Venturella, and Kylie Medvec will be joining us at 1:30. All three seniors and all three captains of the Springfield girls soccer team.
Yep, going to be exciting to talk to them too, and talk a little bit more soccer as we try to load up these shows with more of those interviews as we can. Because unfortunately, when we came in as the new breed, we didn't have a whole lot of time to be able to do all the fall sports to preview. So that's why we're trying to get as much soccer content as we can as well.
This is one of the things that kind of evolved from this brainstorm. I really like this idea of bringing captains on our show, because they're not their official player profiles. They're not. But they're still getting players on the show. And I like this captain's quarters idea where we're having captains. Most of them are seniors or juniors. and I think it's real fun content to bring captains on the show.
I think it's fun as well too, because it really just shows youth leadership too, and those kids that step into the roles. I mean, we've been talking about it consistently the last 2 weeks. So at the football teams, with the volleyball teams, and leadership qualities and how important those are on those teams, and you get to see it firsthand live, and how those leadership qualities and what those qualities are and why they rub off on these younger girls and younger boys in these programs.
And let's be honest, who doesn't want to be a captain? I mean, come on.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, when you step into those roles too, it's not always the rah-rah too, and that's what we notice a lot about these captains. It's not always the most vocal person, and a lot of them are usually just quiet, but they're those quiet
lead by example.
Those quiet players that go to you after practice is done and say, hey, here's what you can do to improve that, or hey, why don't we take a few extra shots? Those are the true leadership qualities, and that's what you see a lot in these captains' quarters.
You know what? We talk about it a lot. Not everyone is a vocal leader. It's just, you can't coach it. You either have that personality type or you don't. But if you're not a vocal leader, then you can also lead in different ways. Lead by example. Lead by just being there for your teammates if they need somebody.
And that's
you don't have to be a big emotional vocal leader to be a good leader. I think that's the thing that people have to understand.
And that's the beautiful thing about coaching, and what we see in our coaches' interviews too. And all these coaches that had success, and the perfect example too, you look at today and you look at the other day, Dan Reardon and Sean Guerrero, how different these two are coaching wise as far as their mentality and their aspects go, but how successful both of them are. And because they're doing it in their own unique way that they're comfortable doing, and that it makes them happy and the team happy. Because, Coach Guerrero, like you said, he's a fun-loving guy. He's all about having fun. And Coach Reardon, he's more of by the books. Let's go out there, do our job, do what we need to do. I mean, and Coach Guerrero is all about, he talks about the mottos, the kids having a motto. Coach Reardon said we don't need a motto. We talk to the kids privately, but we don't need the T-shirts and everything. So it's beautiful because coaching can be so different, but you can have success in being so different.
What's the motto? Nothing. What's the motto with you?
Yeah, that should be the shirt.
I know, right? That should be Ursula's shirt.
Yeah, Ursula, that's what I'm saying. That's Ursula's motto.
What's the motto?
What's the motto? That's hilarious.
We're back. Nothing. What's the motto with you? And I got to give credit because that is not my joke. If you're a Disney fan, or if it's Lion King, so never too old for Disney.
No,
right?
Not at all.
If anyone has a problem with that, see me in the comment section.
Anthony's ready to fight over it right now.
It's a Friday. I'm amped. I'm going to be here all day, and I will fight anybody in comment sections. I won't fight them in person because that's not fair.
Speaking of Friday, don't miss too. I mean, before we have the Springfield girls captains too, last hour of the show, we're going to probably be making, I think, pick'ems, maybe last hour, 45 minutes, something like that.
And
pick-ems
we might have some
21, I think, 21 games we have on the docket.
And we're going to pick Jackson Milton because they're tomorrow night. We won't have a show on Saturday. But
okay, so
soccer, it's a YSN team versus a non-YSN team. I don't think there's no spoiler alerts. We're going to pick Jackson Milton. I mean,
there's no spoiler alerts. You don't think I'm going to play the bad guy? Like
don't
Billy
you
Mack
dare.
You don't want me to play Billy Mack?
I will cut you from the show so quick.
And play the bad guy?
I'll just hit this button and you'll be off. I have the power.
Might have some guests pop on too. We never know. Last hour
we are likely, I'm not going to confirm it, but we are likely to get people overflowing from Power Hour to Running Point to make picks with us.
Yeah, I would assume so because there's a lot of people in the group. So
that just makes me feel insecure that we're going to be like the fat kid in gym that gets picked last. Like, oh, I guess I have to play with Running Point. We'll go pick over there.
We'll make it fun here on Running Point, though. We'll make it a fun time.
We promise our pick'em section will be it'll be different, but it'll be fun. All right. We're not going to
combine that. That's another thing. Content. We'll just combine the pick'em sections from Power Hour and Running Point.
We're going to send a morph it right into Power Hour's pick'em
video. Yeah. Just go right into the video.
It's going to be a merge. Running Point and Power Hour pick'ems on a Friday night.
That'd be kind of crazy. It's StreamYard. We can't. It's just like, I think it's restrictions that we have on the number of people we could fit in a certain stream without having like internet issues.
Once again, I think we fixed it. I think we got the upgrade where we can have It's a big number. We can have a lot of people on StreamYard now on YSN.
We can handle it, but a lot of people's Wi-Fi's ain't going to be able to handle that many
their own
internet
problem.
connections.
If they don't have good Wi-Fi, then I'm
Then
sorry.
they're not going to be able to watch it. So we'd rather just split it up and have overflow into Running Point.
Yeah, people can watch it. I don't think it matters. You can watch it no matter how many people are on. But to your point, 50 people, someone's bound to have bad Wi-Fi. Someone's bound to have AOL, dial-up tones. So, hey, if you can't hang, then hey, welcome.
When you get all those Wi-Fi's together, it can be disastrous. Too,
Bishop Hartley couldn't hang. That was the student section motto last night for Ursuline. By the way, returning of student sections was incredible. I saw pictures
game last night.
I saw videos. Canfield student section was making our guys in the press booth literally shake, like the press box was shaking in Poland, and they were right next to the student section. Great to have students back at these games.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, that's one thing we always say we miss from last year is having the fans there and having the student section there. Especially
I think every Monday after we recap the action, we should pick a best student section that we saw over the weekend because everyone's going to have their themes. So if you want, if you're a student section and you want a piece of that, make sure that you're posting pictures and
get a video. Take some videos.
And me and Ty will see. We're both on social media a lot. We'll be
we'll share it on Running Point too. I'm sure we could probably put up a video too.
Okay, if we're gonna share it on Running Point, it's got to be make your videos appropriate.
Yeah,
students.
Yeah. Well, obviously we're not going to pick one that's not appropriate, Anthony. We're going to pick that one as our favorite. Then.
We won't, but we're going to be expected to. Why didn't you pick us? Well, you had some stuff on your sign that we can't put on Running Point.
Yeah, but chance to make this really fun.
Yeah, I think every Monday we'll kind of pick our favorite student section picture that we saw on social media.
We'll have to start a hashtag for it to start grouping all the pictures together.
That's a good. See, now we have to come up with that. We can't use because there's Golden Megaphone, of course, which is the state-run student section awards. We can't use that. We'll have to come up with a good title for the best student.
If we could hashtag it though and get them to start hashtagging the pictures, then we could have a flood. That'd be beautiful if we got a flood of pictures on a Friday night. Pictures and videos.
What's a hashtag? I don't know what this is. I'm not good with the tweeter and twet stuff. No, hashtag it, people. We're not old anymore.
Yeah. We're new. I think the hashtag.
We're the new Running Point. We know how to hashtag.
I think come Monday we should have a hashtag thought of for everyone to try to go with.
If you have any ideas, comment section is live.
I'm trying to think of a good idea too, but we need a good hashtag for everyone to throw the pictures under, and then we'll get everyone to talk about it.
Yes. Oh man, I'm excited.
I love it. Huge. I love the idea of a Friday night around 10 o'clock getting just a dump of pictures and videos from all over the area of just different student sections. That'd be awesome.
You're going to go to a game tonight, by the way, with a couple of really good student sections.
Oh yeah, I'm excited for this game too, and I mean we'll obviously talk about it with the pick'ems too, but I mean to kind of just preview my excitement for the first football game back for the season for me calling, and I mean Fitch and Cheney obviously know my ties to Fitch, but also really love Cheney as a program. I've come close with a few programs too, and I mean that came over with the football season, but I really love Coach Emil too, and I love what Coach Emil has done with that program. And
you have been amping up this game as the marquee game of the week. I'm going to give you your FaceTime. Just give the YSN fans a reason why this is the game to tune in on.
I think if you want to get any reason, just watch last year's game and understand that these are two teams that are going to be hard-nosed, rough and tough them. And you know what? Everyone says that since Fitch moved to the AAC, they don't play that hard-nosed type of football anymore, and they don't play that Youngstown style of football. But when Fitch and Cheney match up, that rivalry, that 80s and that 90s of style of football is back with that rough and tough them in your face, hard-nosed. Both these teams always vying for a win. I mean, last year too, coming down to the final seconds, Fitch needing to pull out a fake punt too to get the win over Cheney. I think it was a 4-point victory, 25-21. But if you think too, by Cheney's record and looking what Fitch did, Fitch 6-0. I think Cheney was 2-4 in the regular season last year. But if you look at regular season and you think that Cheney's coming into this matchup an underdog, I don't think so at all. And I think you'd be sorely mistaken. This is probably as even a matchup can get. I think Cheney's biggest question is just quarterback. Fitch, I think, has a slight advantage just because they have Sherwood returning, but I think Cheney, hard-nosed, rough and tough him. And the one thing, too, that I love, and I'll definitely keep saying this, that interview with Coach Emil, he closed it out saying, we need this win. Youngstown needs this win. That, and I mean, the look in his eyes, if that doesn't sound chills down your spine, whether you're Youngstown or not, saying we need this win, Youngstown needs this win. That is huge, and that shows how serious he's taking this game. There's a lot of emotion coming into this game, and I think it's going to be so exciting tonight.
You know, if Cheney wins, a lot of people outside of you and the show will say upset. Maybe not exactly upset if you really dive into it. Yeah, obviously, it's upset on paper because of what Fitch finished with last year and what Cheney finished with last year. We get it, but if you really dive into both teams and you look at what happened last year in their game, maybe not as big of an upset as you would think if Cheney gets to beat Fitch tonight. That is not contradicted myself.
Yeah. And it's not disrespecting Fitch either, because Fitch is still, I think, one of the better teams in Division II in the entire area. But that is just me not disrespecting Cheney and saying that it'd be an upset for Cheney to win, because it wouldn't. Because this is a Cheney program that has bred very successful athletes in its short time back. And these athletes finally had a year of training. Like we talked with Coach Emil, didn't get that last year with COVID. Had to do a lot of it on themselves, but they got weight room time together. They got to practice as a team over the summer, and I think that's going to be huge and pay huge dividends for Coach Emil and the Cowboys this season.
And honestly, I think that's why the first two games of Cheney's season last year, they looked very lackluster, because they didn't have the summer program that they are used to having.
Yeah,
well, they did. So I don't expect them to come out of the gates with a sluggish football in weeks 1 and 2.
And they were still competitive and close in those first two games. Well, game one, yeah, it was the rain out versus Ursuline, and we know what Ursuline was last year. So Ursuline beat them up pretty good. They were young, they were new, they were in a rain, they didn't have practice time. But that second game against Howland, if I'm not mistaken, I think they lost by like 1 or 2 points, and they were so close to winning that game. And I think it came down to one play where they lost that game, but it was so close, and they were so competitive. Almost beat Fitch, almost beat Howland. There were so many almost wins in there. They did beat Mooney last year, I know, was one of their wins. So they had significant wins, but this was a Cheney team that was 2-4 that could have easily been 4-2 if 2 plays went their way in a season.
And if they're 4-2, well, what would 4-2 equate to in a
4-2 would have definitely put them at a better seed. And they did end up going into the playoffs last year as a lower seed and won the first playoff game too. So this is a team that, again, we know every team made the playoffs, but I mean, still went in and won their first game, and that's incredible.
You think, let's see, I'm going to try to do the math here. Hang on, doing some math. I am a Georgia Tech fan, not a math engineer. I did not go to Georgia Tech, obviously. Let's see, that's a win percentage of 2. So I think 6-4 would be like about what 4-2 would be in a 6-game season for a 10.
Yeah, just about, I would think, because that's right about.
You got a 66 win percentage.
Yeah, right around that. So that's close. And, I mean, if I want to go real quickly through their schedule, 6-4 in a 10-game schedule. Fitch, Boardman, Mooney, St. Charles, Canfield, Ursuline, Painesville, Harvey, Howland, Harding, East. Definitely some tough games in there. It's going to be, I mean, you're looking at Fitch and Boardman. Mooney's going to be fun. Canfield, Ursuline, obviously. Howland's going to be interesting. Harding and East. But I think 6-4 is definitely realistic looking at the schedule. I'm not sure, actually, what St. Charles and Painesville, Harvey is going to be like this year offhand. But those are going to be 2 games I'm not too sure about. But I definitely think 6-4 is doable for the Cowboys this year. Absolutely.
Are you recruiting? Are you what's the word I'm looking for?
I don't know what the word is you're looking for because I don't know what you're trying.
Are you taking yourself out of the pick for that game since you're calling it? Or are you still going to pick it?
Oh, I'm still gonna pick it. I'm not gonna.
You find that awkward to be like, I'm calling a game, but I already picked it, and obviously, if you picked it, you know, people are gonna be like, well, you're rooting for that team. You know,
No, because I don't ever root for a team because I mean it's the same case I think when you go at the national broadcast and you try to pick a team for a Super Bowl or you pick.
That's why I asked, because like ESPN, they don't pick the games that they're calling. So I was just like, I don't know if Ty wants to do it, but since you're doing
the way
it,
I look at it too, because I call every team down the middle. I'm gonna have a team no matter what in each game that I think is going to win or is going to have a slight edge. That's just how sports work. You come into each game with an opinion, whether you like it or not, and whether it's audible or not. I let it be known what I think is going to be, and I give each team its due diligence. And that's the biggest thing I do is I don't differentiate that when I call a game. Every team, an exciting play is an exciting play, and you're going to get my full excitement either way because I'm not rooting for either team. I just think a different team or a team is going to win either game. I mean, sometimes I might pick against Fitch in certain games if I think that the other team has an edge. Does that mean that Fitch is going to lose? No, because I've been wrong plenty of times before.
maybe in a half an hour he might pick against Fitch. Who knows?
Maybe. Who
The
knows?
pickups are coming.
Who knows? But no, I just like to do that because I think it's everyone has their opinion in sports games regardless. You're going to have your opinion on who you think is going to win or who you want's going to win. That's the biggest thing, though. It's who I think is going to win, not who I want to win. It's not. That's the biggest thing. I'm never going to say who I want to win because most of the time I don't care who wins. I just want to see a good matchup with good young athletes and call exciting plays for them. That's what I care about doing.
For the most part with our announcers, by the way, just as a disclaimer, because we get a lot of, you're rooting for this team or you're, for the most part, unless it's a YSN versus a non-YSN school, most of our announcers don't have a rooting edge. Now, there are some that are designated to that team, so obviously they're going to be rooting a little bit for that team, Mike McKenzie.
But I mean,
that's part of the thing. Like we are partnered with schools, so obviously we're going to be a little bit rooting towards the school that we're partnered with.
Yeah.
But that being said, that's one of the things that like personally I struggled with when starting on YSN. Like when I started, I was just calling South Range games. I'm a South Range alum and a big South Range fan. And I had to kind of water that down a little bit. And now that I'm content director, social media director, yada, 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 it was one of the things where I had to take the Raider in me and just be like, put a pin in it. And when you're on the microphone and when you're talking to people, you can't be that guy anymore. And
yeah,
it's hard. We get it. There are some guys that can't do it. But we take pride in that at YSN.
Yeah. And you know what? And some people are different. And me personally, yeah, being a Fitch alum, yeah, but I've distanced myself from being that high school is past now. It's for me when I go into these games, it's not about, like I said, it's not about the team, and it's never a disrespect to Fitch or anything, because I'm not saying I don't want you to win a game or I want you to win a game, because I don't call who I want to win any game, because like I said, I don't care. But that's not a disrespect to the Fitch program, because I still love the program. That's the thing, is I love programs, and I love coaching, and I love the schools and how communities build around these programs. That's what I love is the programs. And for me, there's certain programs that I love and I've gotten closer with than other programs, but that's just because of exposure. But that's never an instance where I want a team to win over another, because I just want to see the best game possible and I just want to see good plays. But like example too, outside of Fitch, Cheney's one program that I've grown to love too because of Coach Emil. You look at basketball and with Waterloo, I've grown to really love Waterloo and Mooney too. Mooney, because of what I did basketball wise with both Mooney and Waterloo this past season, I've really grown to love those programs and those schools as a whole. So I think that's the biggest thing.
We'll take a quick break. On the other end, the three captains of the Springfield girls soccer team will join us on Running Point, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
We are there in your community. Small business owners, mechanics, police officers, homemakers, and we are there serving our nation in the Air Force Reserve. When medical emergencies arise, in cybersecurity, when natural disasters happen, We are there in space. We are Reserve Citizen Airmen, and we are there with over 180 different jobs to serve your country. Air Force Reserve.
Hi, this is Tommy Clem, owner of WRS Insurance Solutions.
WRS Insurance Solutions is a local independent agency that specializes in life, Medicare, long-term care, and disability products. Call us at 330-953-3722 or visit us at wrsinsurancesolutions.com to learn more.
Good luck to all the student athletes in the Valley.
Attention, current lessees of most makes and models. Tri-State Ford has a special offer for you. Come to Tri-State Ford, turn in your lease early, and get up to $2,500 in trade equity toward a new Ford or pre-owned vehicle. Plus, our exclusive Tri-State Ford Advantage includes a 10-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Early lease turn-in for most makes and models with up to $2,500 trade equity.
Customer focus, community driven. Tri-State Ford East Liverpool or visit tristateford.net.
Welcome back to Running Point Friday edition, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. Anthony Hartwig alongside Ty Bartell as we welcome in the captains of the Springfield girls soccer team. All three of them seniors, by the way. Kayla Lamorticella popping in, Gracie Venturella popping in, and Kylie Medvac popping in. Guys, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks
for having us.
All three of you guys are seniors. What's it mean to you to kind of be in your senior season and be given this captain's role and to be able to lead this team? We'll just go left to right. So
I think it means a lot. We've all worked so hard to get this position. There's only a select few who get it. So in the summer, with us working so hard and proving to the other girls that we can be a captain on the team and that they can come to us if they need help, I think just it means a lot to us, especially knowing that we're here, always going to be there to help them.
In the past, it's been, for me, not just being a captain, to be a leader. I think that any underclassmen or anyone that's not a captain still has a voice. It's good to hear all the underclassmen. They have something to say, to tell us, seniors or juniors, if they're not captains, to still hear things from them, what they think should be happening. But I think it's a great honor to be a captain, and I'm glad to be it with Kayla and Kylie.
Yes, I agree, and I'm very glad that our players saw us as captains, and being a leader on the team with Grace and Kayla is very, very good because we've all played together for so long, and we love to be leaders. So it's very good that we got this opportunity.
Being in those leadership positions, obviously the younger and underclassmen are looking up to you. So what are some of your expectations of the underclassmen and for the season this year?
My expectations for them are just basically to be a leader, just so other people can look up to them, because it's always nice to have people like that on the team. I think just have a good attitude, positive, and just always being there to help other people on the team.
Expectation-wise, I think that the younger girls, in the past we've lost a few good players, and coming in, I think they know the shoes they have to fill, and they've done a really good job just stepping up every day at practice and working hard, and like Kayla said, having a positive attitude and working hard. And I think we're all kind of showing them the ropes of how high school soccer works and how it needs to be played.
We really just expect them to give us their all, because they all have different skills wise. So I just think if they give them 100%, then it will be good in the long run. So they just always have to give 100%.
you guys have obviously been through 3 years of seniors graduating. What have been some of the lessons that seniors of the past have given to you that you can take into your leadership positions this year?
Some of the things that they've shown me in the past was always be yourself and just be there to support other people. They've also shown me that winning isn't everything, because my freshman year we didn't go too far, but I mean we weren't horrible. They just showed me like to have a good time together, to enjoy it because it does go really fast. So they just basically just have fun and just make new friends and create bonds with people that you only talk to during school. So it's just a different time just to make new friends. I mean, it's mostly it.
For me, having the girls leave last year just really made me realize to treat every game like it's your last. You never know the last time you're going to step on the field, especially us being seniors. So just go out and play every game like it's your last, give it your all, and have good chemistry on and off the field, and that's what makes it fun.
One big thing they taught us was, like Kayla said, that it does go fast. We never believed them. But now, since we're seniors, we're truly seeing that it is going super fast. And to always be yourself is a major thing they always taught us. And I think most of us are living up to that. So, yeah, just always be yourself and know that it does go fast.
For my question for you guys, to go away from the leadership and just go into your game a little bit, going into this offseason, but coming into this season, what was the biggest thing personally that you look to improve in your game?
I look to improve on talking more in a positive way, just knowing that some people aren't used to playing with me and how I play. So I was just focused on talking and helping them in a positive way.
I feel like a specialty of mine is seeing the field and just seeing the gaps and where girls can go. And I feel like playing through the gaps and, just seeing where girls are and just communicating with them and helping the girls out, that will help me a lot.
I think improving my speed will really help me a lot, because we have Mary Grace Mason, who is really quick in the back. But I think if I can, like, if she's out or she's hurt, there needs to be someone back there that will be able to run down the balls like she does very well. So I think if I can improve my speed, that will really help me.
You guys have only lost 3 games in 2 seasons at one of the more successful soccer programs in the area. How hungry are you guys to kind of keep that success this year and keep it going?
We're really hungry for it, but the most important thing for us is just take every game, like game by game. And the most important game is the game we're playing next, like what's up. And as of last year, we learned not to take anything for granted or overlook any team. So I think this year we're just going to kind of come in as the underdog almost and just not be humble about it and just not expect to win any game.
I'm hoping we come off with a good season. Coming off last year, it was kind of unfortunate losing in the game that we did when we expected to go so much further. But I think we came back, we started the summer strong, and we're going to keep growing. And I'm excited to see where we end up.
Yeah, I think we're going to do pretty well this season, but we can't just rely on the games and winning. That's not what we're trying to do. We're just trying to build as a team, because last year we didn't go as far as we hoped, but our sophomore year we did do very well, which we just hope that we go as far as we can and just make this a good season.
I think senior year is definitely going to be the most memorable year for all 3 of you. And I mean, no doubt soccer is going to be a huge proponent of that. By the end of the season, what is one thing you're hoping to say and take away from your senior year?
I would say the amount of friends that I've made, that I would never think that I'd make friends with them unless I played soccer with them. There's some people on the team I've never even thought I would ever be friends with them, but now that I talk to them and hang out with them and with them every single day, I'm so glad that I was able to make those bonds with some of those people.
Yeah, like Kayla said, the bonds are really important, and I just hope that we all don't take it for granted, like I said a few minutes ago, because it does go by really fast. I just hope that, we all are happy with our outcome and that we just take away and we, just work together and get closer as friends, not just as teammates.
Yes, I agree. One big thing would be the friends we did make because we had a couple new seniors come out this year and a couple freshmen that we have become close with. So I think like all the lessons that coaches taught us will really bring us like through in the end, and all of the friendships will I will hope will last towards like out of school.
You guys have been talking about friendship, and one of the most important things for teams are chemistry. Talk about some of the favorite things you guys have done off the field as a team to build those team chemistry and to build the team bond.
Some things we do is like in the summer we have this Canfield Day, and all of us hang out there, and we have games the whole day. It's like an all-day thing. In between every game, we're always together in the tent, eating, hanging out until our next game. And then we usually go to Columbus, but this year we went somewhere in Cleveland, and our second day of games got canceled. So we all hung out in the hotel together, and we had like a whole day to hang out and get close and just have fun together.
Like she said, the second day we were in Strongsville. We were supposed to have 3 games, and they all got canceled. So the whole day we were just in each other's hotel rooms hanging out. And honestly, I feel like that trip made us a lot closer as a team. We learned a lot about each other that we didn't know. A lot of the girls that are new or coming up, we were able to get close with them and just learn more about them.
Yeah, the second day, I think it was Strongsville we went to. It was so much fun. We really learned like everything about the girls. We played tag throughout the halls, just all those fun stuff. And in town, we like to go and eat a lot. So we go and get food quite often after practices, which a lot of times it's with everyone. So it's really fun just like hang out with them outside of soccer.
What has been your favorite part of your high school soccer experience with Springfield?
Definitely winning districts, because I had a lot of close friends on that team, and I was just proud to say that we went through all that together, and it was just always going to be a great memory to have with them.
I would probably say the same thing. In that game, we started out losing 1-0, and we were able to score, I think, 3 more goals and come out with a win. And just the celebration and watching all the fans come out and, showing all the support that they're there for us. It was fun, and it was awesome celebrating with the team.
Districts for sure, but also I think it was last year or the year before when we played Beaver Local and Ursuline. Those 2 games really were just so much fun because they were hard competition, so I really enjoyed playing them, and we did win, so that was also a plus at the end.
We've already had Coach Kosek on the show. Talk a little bit about him, what it's like to be coached by him, and what are some of your favorite things about your coaches on this team?
Coach, I've known him for a while. He was my travel coach when I was a lot younger, as well as Kylie and Grace. So we kind of knew what to expect with him, and we've been friends with Kylie. We played with Kylie all growing up. We all played TCSC together. We all hung out outside of soccer. So I got to know him more as like a personal person. Like we kind of had that personal connection where I could really tell him really anything I was comfortable with. And I was glad to create that bond with him. And he just knows who we are. So like it's more of like a comfort feeling knowing that like we can go to him, and he's just really an awesome coach to have. And I'm really glad that he was able to be my coach these last 4 years.
Yeah, we've been with him since we were like in middle school playing travel, and obviously we've gotten to know him, like she said, on a personal level. And just being at practice, it's fun being able to joke around with him too, and just the fact that he pushes us really hard and he doesn't ever give up on us.
Yeah, I've known Coach since I think it was elementary basketball, middle school, like before travel soccer. So we've been with and I think like one of my favorite things is that he knows like that he can mess around with us, and like some other coaches, like not on our team but like other teams, they can't joke with you. It's like always so serious, but Coach likes to joke around. He likes to just pick on things sometimes, but it's fun because like we have fun with it, and we can like pick on him sometimes for it, and he laughs. So I like that he has sense of humor.
Obviously, you don't want to look ahead of the schedule too much, and you want to stay in the moment for each game that's upcoming in the next one. But what is one game on the schedule that you guys are excited for this season or looking forward?
I am excited. We play a team. I'm not sure what they're called. It's a new team that we have on our schedule this year, and we really don't know anything about them. So I'm excited to play them. It's just because our other teams, at least we know, like we played them before, so we kind of know what to expect. But this new team, I'm kind of excited to play that game to just experience it like a new team to play and have fun with it.
The team I'm most excited about, we actually already played them. We've never played Niles before, and we played them last Friday. But unfortunately, we didn't get to finish the half because of the storm. And I don't think we're rescheduling it. But I was excited to play them because we never have. And, they're aggressive. And it was our first game. And I was just excited to see how we were able to work as a team. And I thought it really showed a lot of our potential for this year.
I agree with Grace. The biggest game that I wanted to play was Niles, and it didn't end as we wanted to. So I was just really hoping. I'm really hoping that we can play them again. Hopefully, we'll get rescheduled. So that's just the biggest game that I want to hopefully play again.
I want to give each of you the chance to kind of give shout outs to your support systems and the people that have been there for you throughout this whole soccer career, and all the people that support you.
Mine are my parents. I honestly don't think my parents have missed any of my games unless something like an emergency happened, but they were always there supporting me, pushing me to do better, and making sure that I was doing what was best for me. So they're my biggest supporters.
I would say my parents, especially my dad. When I started soccer at a really young age, he knew nothing about it. And now I could confidently say he knows a lot about it. And he's just always been there to support me with all of my decisions and encouraged me and just always tells me to keep pushing through it and, just make the best decisions that I can.
I agree. My parents are always there for me. My dad, especially with sports, but also my little sisters. They always come to all the games. They've been coming to my games since they were little tiny kids. And my brother Clay, he sometimes comes. And my grandparents, they love coming to the games. They always come. So I'm really grateful for everyone in my family.
Kylie, that Medvac name is very familiar in the Springfield circles, obviously, with Clay.
Yeah.
Has anyone asked this summer if you can kick field goals too now that he's gone?
He was over quarantine. He was teaching me how to kick field goals because we have a net outside. So we were practicing and stuff. He's like, you should go and kick. And the coaches, Coach Guerrero sometimes jokes around with it, But I don't know. They have a kicker, so hopefully.
Was there ever an inkling? Did you want to kick, or were you just trying to humor people?
Whoa, no, it's actually kind of fun. So, I mean, I would never be as good as Clay, but it was fun when we were practicing. It's different.
The Medvac name is not shy to kicking field goals at all. I guess. I guess the biggest thing, and I guess my last question for you guys. I mean, we talked about reflecting on this season and looking forward to this season, but just talk about, I guess, your bond with each other, being just seniors this year. This is your last year, the last hoorah together. What has been your story up until this point, and what are you most excited for playing this year together?
Well, me, Kylie, and Grace have been really, really close. I think me and Grace started being friends in maybe kindergarten, and then Kylie came to Springfield. I think she was in 4th grade, and ever since then, we've all been inseparable. We have so much fun together, and if they're my best 2 friends, and I'm so glad that I'm able to play with them. I'm glad we play the same sports, and growing up, we've played basketball together, volleyball, track. We've done so many things, club soccer, and we've got to experience a lot of things together. So I'm honored that they're my friends and that we're all captains on this team this year.
Yeah, we have known each other for a really long time, and some of my best memories, honestly, are with them. And just being so close makes it so easy for us to connect and have, that chemistry on the field. And I'm just, we don't know what we're doing after, not sure of our plans yet. So just this season, I'm hoping to make the best of it and, just have fun with my best friends.
Yes, I agree. On the field, we have so much chemistry because we're with each other 24/7 outside of soccer. And it's just so much fun when we get together, we just hang out. And I just think our goals this season is just to have fun and to see as far as we can go past, hopefully get to districts, hopefully pass our couple rounds of the tournament. But I just think it's to have fun and just see how far we go.
Before we let you go, are you guys going to the big game tonight? And if you are, what are you so excited about getting back to student sections and getting back to the Friday Night Light atmosphere?
Yes, we're all going to the game together, actually. We're all going together. And I'm just excited because last year we didn't really get the chance to have a student section. And I'm excited because now that we're seniors, we kind of make the themes and we start the cheers and everything. So I just think it's going to be fun. And I'm excited to watch the boys that we've always grown up with in our grade, play their last season too and being able to support them.
Yeah, I'm really excited. Before the games, we usually go somewhere to eat or something, and then we ride to the games together. And then after, we usually do the same thing. But like she said, it's fun, just being in the student section because we didn't get to do that last year. And, we're the front of the line, we're the seniors. And yeah, I'm just excited to see how the boys are this year. Yeah, they're really good, and I'm hoping that they'll make it as far as they have in the past.
Yes, we're also excited for the game tonight. Hopefully they will beat South Range. That's what we're looking forward to. And just all the cheers and holding the flag and everything. We're just hoping it's so much fun and just making it the best.
So now I'm going to give you a chance to talk to your fellow students and why they should come support you guys and make a good student section for the girls soccer team. Give us your pitch.
A lot of people aren't really into soccer because it is hard to get into if you really know nothing about it. So, my parents really didn't know anything about it until I started playing, and they didn't understand it. And they always said, "Oh, it's kind of boring. We don't know what's happening. There aren't, because in a soccer game, many goals aren't really scored in a normal soccer game. So it's when it takes 20 minutes for a goal to be scored, they're kind of like, oh, it's kind of boring. So some people come out and watch us and support us, but some people don't. But I get, because my parents have said the same thing, but it'll be nice to have some more people come out this year, hopefully, if we go far.
Yeah, not many people come to the girls' soccer games. I'm hoping now with COVID kind of settling down that a lot of people will come. I actually talked to one of the football players last night, Bo Snyder, and he said that they will have some student sections for us. So I hope he lives up to what he said.
Yes, Bo did say he's going to be making themes. So hopefully he actually will do that. And we can have, because just a few people there just make our night because, we just get our parents, but when we see our friends there, it's so much fun. We see them after the game. So we just hope that a few people show up to them.
Pressure's on you, Bo.
Yeah, pressure's on Bo. I was about to say we're going to get Bo Snyder on the show now and make sure we hold him accountable.
Just a call to Tiger Nation, get out and support these girls. They've only lost 3 games in the last 2 seasons. They're going to be just as good as they were the last 2. So get out and support these girls. We definitely appreciate them coming on. Guys, thank you so much for your time. We'll definitely be supporting you guys and covering you guys all season long. So we look forward to that, and good luck this season.
Thank you
so much.
Those were the captains of the Springfield girls soccer team, Kayla Lamorticella, Grace Venturella, and Kylie Medvec. Wonderful conversation with captains. We love it. They're all great leaders. They're all seniors. And, let's go. Girls soccer. They're one of the best programs in the area. Call to Tiger Nation. Get out there and support these girls. They're putting in the time.
Yeah, absolutely. It's their last dance essentially for the field. All 3 of them, like they said, they don't know what they're doing after, but this is their last dance with Springfield, and they've had some pretty successful years the last 2. They're looking to make a pretty darn successful 3rd year here with most of them returning. So look out for them this year. Get out there and support.
It's on record now, Bo.
Yeah, it's on record.
We're
We're
gonna do
gonna
it.
have to reach out to Bo and get him on the show now.
He got to make the themes. He's got to do it. It's on record. You can't escape it.
They made sure too. They put him they put him on blast on Running Point. They made sure they knew that he knew. But no, we're looking forward to. I hope it does. I hope there's some huge student sections out there too, because if you do try to understand a little bit too, and as I've been trying to understand, because believe me, I'm along this journey with you. I'm trying to get into soccer. Think too. You want to say that soccer's boring with no goals, but think about if you're a baseball fan, think about those pitching performances when it's a 7-inning barn burner, no scoring, back and forth. These two pitchers are just lighting it up, and then that one run finally scores. How exciting that one run is when you get that win. Comparable to soccer when it's just on it. Think of it more just edge of your seat waiting for that score. As these two teams, it is hard to score a goal in soccer. It is not easy.
I'll tell you something. And Cheryl Fico from West Branch, who was the soccer coach we got on way back at the beginning of our new era of Running Point, she made a good point. She said, because high school is not as structured and as elite as the professional soccer that you see on TV, sometimes it's more exciting because they're just running from goalpost to goalpost. You're going to see a little bit more scoring than you do on TV because they're not elite. And that can be seen as a bad thing. But really, when you're talking about excitement, it can be a good thing because ball control is not as important. You're not slowing the game down because you don't have the athletes to do it. When it's high school, it's really running post to post, and it can get really exciting. You can get a 8-2 or 8-5 soccer game in high school. Not going to see that in the MLS, but you can see it in high school.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, there's those rare occasions where a team will put up those points, but I mean, we see it too in all sports. That's not just soccer too, because I mean, how many games are you going to see end 62-58 in the NFL?
I'm gonna make a guess that'll be the combined highest score that we see this year, maybe.
Yeah, in the NFL, you might see one game like that. We had that game 1 of the season, and what Springfield puts up too. How many games, like football-wise, do you see teams put 58-0 on their opponent?
Even LeBray and Brookfield last year was like 55-51.
Yeah.
So it didn't touch Ursuline and Hartley. That might be the highest scoring game we see all year, and it happened on day 1.
Yeah, 62-58. What is that? A combined 120 points scored? That is ridiculous. 100.
Not a math major.
I think it's 120 combined points scored between two teams on game 1.
I just wanted to double check. I know people are probably judging me for having to check.
No, you're good. I'm glad you double checked.
I wanted to double check. I was almost sure, but I wanted to double check.
But 120 combined points week 1. But I mean, that it goes across all sports too. So you'll see higher scoring soccer games too. But it all comes down to anything with sports. Every sport seems boring until you take the time to try to understand it. Once you understand it, it becomes a lot more exciting.
If Coach Yeagley is watching, there's a reason that I never got into your calculus class. Let's put that out there.
That's why.
That's why. I have a calculator for 62 and 58. Ooh.
But yeah, get out there and support all fall sports too. I mean, you could have a full slate of schedule. If you're supporting the volleyball and the soccer teams, you'll have a game to go to pretty much every night if you're a sports fan.
If you're as nuts about, well, not every, but there are some days where like volleyball will be over and you can go catch the second half of soccer.
Yeah, you're pretty much. I mean, like just about every night in the fall, you're going to be going to a sports game.
Now, I'm not crazy. I would go to sporting events all night. I know a lot of people aren't that crazy, but if you are like me, go see the volleyball game. It ends pretty quickly. If it's a quick match, you can go to if the soccer team's home, you can just go pop into the soccer game and watch.
At the very least, get there for the big matchups for them. Support them in those big matchups where they need those home wins or they need that home field advantage. Home field needs to feel like home field when you got to get a fan and a student section out there to represent. So,
especially a program like Springfield that has been so successful and so dominant. Like I said, last 2 seasons they've only lost 3 games total. They deserve the support. They just do.
Yeah, they're going to have another great team again this year. So we look forward to previewing and watching the Tigers all year long on YSN.
they definitely got our support. That's for sure.
Absolutely, 100%, as we're going to be looking forward to seeing them as well as various other teams as we've previewed various other players and coaches of soccer teams around the area. So soccer looking to get into full swing coming up.
We are approaching the 2 o'clock hour, which means we're approaching the time of the pick'em section of the show. We will take a quick break and be back to talk about the games on the slate tonight on Running Point, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
No matter what the weather, be prepared with a reliable, efficient Rude gas furnace or air conditioner from MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning. Call your energy efficient expert MP Vivo today for a free estimate.
Here at MP Vivo, we rely on Rude, and so should you.
It's storm season.
I think we're under the gun for some heavy storms over the next couple of hours.
And Storm Tracker 21 is ready.
This is probably the one we're keeping a closer eye on.
On air.
And locally, we're going to have a lot of eyes on our area.
Online.
All right, let's talk high-risk futurecast and the timing of this weather.
On social media and on our app.
Rain will come and go tomorrow. There'll be some dry intervals.
Stay ready with Storm Tracker 21.
The severe weather threat now through around sunset this evening.
Myers Family Insurance knows the importance of a great team.
Our team continues to grow to help you with your Medicare and retirement needs.
The annual election period is October 15th through December 7th. Now's the time to make sure your plan continues to meet your needs for the upcoming year.
Call today.
"60 years ago, Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods began with 3 siblings, a hand-set sawmill, and a few local orders. And while business has certainly changed over the years, what has not are our principles of hard work, craftsmanship, and commitment to quality. At Baird Brothers, we're proud to put our name on the products we create, from moldings and doors to flooring and lumber. Thank you for 60 great years. We look forward to 60 more. Baird Brothers, for the place you love."
Hi everyone, this is DJ Yoakley with Your Sports Network. We appreciate your support of YSN and welcome you to the YSN family. Our broadcast streams are brought to you live at no cost to you by sponsors that are local to this community. Without the vision and generosity of our sponsors and partners, we would not be able to bring this game to you today. So please support the great businesses and leaders that are making this game possible. And if you're a business in need of great advertising and sponsorship opportunities, feel free to head over to our site for more information on the right fit for you. We are local, we are loyal, and we are live. We are YSN.
News doesn't stop after the sun goes down. Sometimes you just have to hustle to get it. At 21 News, no matter how far it is, no matter what it takes to get there, we're working to bring you the best stories and the freshest content at 11 p.m. with the context and clarity that makes it worth staying up for, no matter what time it is. 21 News at 11 with me, Aaron Simonek, and Derek Steyer.
21 News at 11, news that's worth your time.
WRS Wealth Advisors is the area's premier wealth and retirement specialist. With our combined 70 years experience and comprehensive wealth strategy, we assist our clients attain their goals. Call 330-965-0370 to learn more about our individual and corporate financial planning services, or visit WRSWealthAdvisors.com. Good luck, athletes.
Every customer has a story, whether it's buying a car for the first time, helping them get approved, or finding the perfect car for their budget. I'm proud that people trust me with their story. I'm Tracy, and I'm ready to go the extra mile for you, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Welcome back to the Friday edition of Running Point, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. They go the extra mile for you. Anthony Hartwig, Ty Bartell back on the program. Friday means football, which means it's time To dive into our matchups, we have 21 on the docket, and we're going to go in no particular order. These are just going to be in the order that they're on our schedule. So let's start with Louisville hosting Barberton tonight. Yeah, we talked about Louisville's schedule. It doesn't start easy. It doesn't continue to get any easier. Barberton coming into the fold. Barberton, a very successful program in their own right. I believe they're in Division II. Louisville Division III. Talk a little bit about what the Leopards should expect tonight.
I mean, it's going to probably be a tough matchup, honestly, with Barberton. We know what Barberton's been able to do, but Louisville's been a successful program these past few years, and we expect the same because Louisville's, let's face it, they've always been a solid football team all around too, and they've always been solid all around, I think, with sports anyway, and I expect nothing less. Louisville, honestly, in this matchup, I think you can expect a surprise here against a Barberton team, and that's just because Louisville, they've been made to do it, and being at home in Louisville, it's a different feeling being in Leopard Nation.
Time for our picks as we go into the pick'em section of our show. I'm going with the Louisville Leopards making a statement to the rest of their schedule, knocking off a Division II powerhouse and protecting their home field against Barberton.
Yeah, I'm going Louisville as well. I think Louisville being home is going to be a huge advantage in this game, especially against a Barberton team that is going to be very good. It's going to be a tough game and a tough matchup for Louisville. But for what Louisville has been bringing back, I think they are in a solid position with a home field and the home crowd behind them. I think Louisville has the chance to pull off the win tonight against a very good Barberton team.
Next matchup, Brookfield heads to McDonald in a absolute offensive line versus defensive line matchup. In our previews, we said this might be the biggest offensive line versus defensive line matchup of week one. It's going to be very physical, very run heavy, maybe pretty low scoring. What do you think about this matchup?
I mean, this is going to be a matchup that is going to, like you said, it's going to be offense versus defense. And you look at what Brookfield has been able to do. And I mean, they're coming in too with not a bad offense, still an offense that averaged 30 and a half. I mean, defense was great too, but this is a team too that's bringing back a lot on defense and a lot on offense. Remember everything that they are bringing back. Yeah, you lose Hayden Gibson at quarterback, but I mean, what they are bringing back, I think, is huge. And Donovan Pawlowski being the new quarterback going into tonight's matchup versus a very good McDonald team, though. This has the matchup making of being a very big barn burner. And we talk about how good Brookfield's offense is, and then you match it up with the battle in the trenches that they're going to have with the McDonald Blue Devils and their defense, too. Mm-hmm. This is going to be a tough one, Anthony, and honestly...
It's tough to pick, and I'm going to go... I think McDonald's defense makes a couple more stops than Brookfield, so I'm going to go with McDonald. Both replacing quarterbacks that were pretty successful in their careers, but I think McDonald's defense will make a couple more stops than Brookfield's and win maybe by 7 or 10.
I was thinking the same thing, and that is just because of I was thinking, okay, yeah, they're both losing quarterbacks, so defense is going to be more prevalent in the game, I think, overall. And I think it is going to be huge. And I think McDonald having that defense, most of that defense returning and being huge is going to be big. And I also think McDonald being at home game one is going to be big. But I do think Brookfield is still going to put up a lot of offensive points, and I think this is going to be a lot closer than what anyone thinks. I'm thinking this is going to be a game you're going to see probably 20 to 24 points, I think, might win this game, and I'm going to say McDonald on this one.
Okay, so we're both on the Leopards. We're both on the Blue Devils. Now we move to a Youngstown old rivalry. Cardinal Mooney travels to Boardman. It's going to be a big crowd in the Boardman Spartans. I guess I should say Sparta. This is Sparta, as the Spartans are going to have a big crowd. Mooney will have a big crowd. It's a great atmosphere, and it's going to be, I think, a barn burner.
I think so as well. And I mean, there's no doubt what they were able to do last year, Boardman, was pretty impressive, and they were able to come back, and they're returning a lot too. Anthony Hightower being a huge one too. Sean O'Horo too. So I mean, there's some big names that are coming back for Boardman, and they got a lot of pieces. But Mooney's also been building up a lot of pieces, and Mooney also finished strong. This is going to be a tough matchup. And now, correct me if I'm wrong. Did these two teams meet each other last year or not?
I think they did. I think Mooney beat Boardman last year.
I thought for some reason, I feel like they played each other, and I thought it was a very close game. If I'm wrong, let me see. It was Boardman that came away victorious.
No, wait, well, whoop.
34-17 last year.
Here come the comments.
And what yeah, there you go, Anthony. And what Boardman is bringing back, what Mooney's bringing back, this is another one of those games. For me,
you know what I tell you, Ty? Last year feels like such a blur.
Yeah, no, I
barely remember our team's playoff runs.
And I think in this matchup, I think Boardman is going to have the slight edge over Mooney. I think it's going to be a close matchup, though, closer than what it was last year. I'm going to say Boardman by 4.
By the way, just want to remind the broadcast teams for those games. Ben and Rob will be calling the Louisville game. Alec and Matt will be calling the McDonald Brookfield game. Donnie will be calling that Boardman Mooney game. I'm gonna go with Mooney. I think Mooney is just a little bit better on the skill positions. I can't go away from the way they ended the season last year. Who you picked Mooney too?
I picked Boardman on that.
Okay, so this is the first one we're splitting. So we're both on Louisville. We're both on McDonald. Ty takes Boardman. I take Cardinal Mooney. And now we move on to your matchup. Cheney going to Austintown Fitch for a old school Youngstown rivalry, Steel Valley rivalry that Coach Emil says Cheney needs and Youngstown needs. Ty, what can you say about it? You're calling it.
So in this matchup, you would say last year, being calling that game, that was a tale of two halves. And the first half, Cheney set the world on fire, and Fitch got punched in the mouth that first half. I believe Cheney jumped. I want to say it was 13-0 if my memory serves correctly to start, and punched Fitch in the mouth. Fitch was able to respond in that second half, but Cheney hung tough. And it did take Fitch scoring and then putting a fake punt on Cheney when Cheney held him to 4th down and getting the ball back in 1st down territory after getting it in 1st down to score again. And that was pretty much the momentum swing for the Falcons from that point on. I think Fitch ended up winning that game 25-21, and I think it came down to a final play that Cheney had where they could have made a pass in the end zone for a touchdown, and it got patted away. This was a game that was as close can be, and I expect the same. I think the biggest question in Austintown is their offensive line going to be as effective as it was last year? And if it can protect Devin Sherwood is a problem because Devin Sherwood can get the pass off, and he has some weapons there too. The biggest problem though is the weapons that he's lost in Todd Simons and in Nate Leskovac is going to be a problem for Sherwood. So where is he going to be able to create those other weapons? The thing with Cheney, they have a line that doesn't get tired, that doesn't seem to tire out. They have a defense that is incredibly endurance. They will hang in and hang tough with an offense. So they're a defense that doesn't quit, and they're going to beat you up come 3rd and 4th quarter. Cheney on the offensive side, though, is what's going to be interesting because they're going to need to run the ball. And if they can establish the run like they did against the Falcons, they're going to have that success. We don't know what we're going to get out of the pass game from Cheney, but we know they're going to be a bunch of great athletes. It's going to be rough and tough style football, Anthony, and it's going to be an old Steel Valley game. With it being in Austintown and a full crowd.
Everybody, that Billy Mack is picking Cheney.
Full crowd in Austintown tonight. You got the Falcon faithful. Cheney's definitely going to travel well. You know, Cheney's going to be there. But for me, and you know what, as good as both of these teams are, and honestly, I think this is a game that's just like the poll in Canfield where I was like this. And it's like this. It's like 50-50. I think, though, because of the one comment I heard, and it was just because of what Coach Emil said, he said, we need this win. Youngstown needs this win. Week 1, anything could happen. Upsets happen. Surprises happen. I don't think it'd be an upset. Everyone else is saying it is. I'm picking the Cowboys tonight.
Here comes Billy says, it doesn't matter if they play on the moon.
I think it does matter, Billy. But this is really a 50-50 game, honestly, for me. And in that was me literally mulling, going back and forth, not knowing who to pick, because I truthfully, I don't know who's coming out on this one, because Falcons are going to be good this year, and I expect them again to make the playoffs, but I also expect Cheney. This is like Canfield Poland to me. This is Canfield. This is the same feeling as Canfield Poland to me.
I'm going on the other side. I'm going to pick Fitch. I think Fitch will take an early lead, and I'm not confident. I'm not 100% confident in Cheney's passing game being able to play catch up.
We'll have to see what Cheney can bring to the table,
Exactly.
and I think
we'll have to see. So
that's
since
the biggest
we'll have
question.
to see, it's a big question mark, and we don't have any question marks with Fitch's pass game.
Yep, and that's going to be the biggest question. But Coach Emil had a good game plan against the Falcons, but Coach Parker usually has a good counter game plan too. But this is also, you got to remember, this is only the second opponent Coach Parker has faced a second time against as the head coach of Fitch. The last time he faced an opponent his second time, it was Warren Harding, and we know what happened in the playoffs.
I think we all learned last year not to pick against Fitch.
Yeah, you don't want to pick against
every
Fitch.
Year, every week last week, it was like, well, now their streak has to end. They're playing this really tough, and it was just like, nope.
I think the biggest question is, can Fitch change things up enough? And the good thing is there's a year in between it. For Fitch to come away victorious tonight, there's a year in between it. But we saw Harding make the adjustments they needed to from the regular season game to the playoffs, and they were able to beat Fitch. And we saw that first time around, that first matchup, no one was beating Fitch in the area because Fitch's game plan and their trick plays, what they were using, no one had seen it. No one knew what to expect. Now you're playing teams a second time. They're going to know what to expect. Can you make the counter adjustments necessary? That's going to be fun.
Coach Parker's had a whole summer to put new things in that bag.
I know. And you never know when a trick play is coming out of the bag from Coach Parker. He loves to fool himself. And you know what? That's a beautiful thing. So even if you do see, again, Cheney could take a 10-14 point lead, Coach Parker's a trick play away from getting that team right back into a game.
We have to move on to Beaver Local. They are hosting Indian Valley. They play Indian Creek later in the season. Hosting Indian Valley tonight. A tough opener for the Beavers. They were so impressive last year, though. What do you think about the Beavers' chances?
I think, Beaver Local is another one of those teams that's returning a decent amount, I think, from last year. And I think they were fairly successful. I think the biggest team they need to get over is Liverpool. East Liverpool is going to be the biggest one you got to get over. But I do think Beaver Local, and from everything what Mikey McKenzie has been hyping him up with, I think he's got me sold on him. I'll pick the Beavers tonight in the win.
Yep, I'm going Beavers too. Home opener, week 1. Their crowd's going to be back. That community supports the Beavers really well. I don't see them losing week 1. So Beavers get the win tonight over Indian Valley, not Indian Creek. Not going to make that mistake again. So let's move on to the next matchup on our docket. Lakeview goes to LeBray. We talked to Coach Armini yesterday, and he talked about how Lakeview is a completely different team than last year. Going to present a different challenge to LeBray under new coach Bellino. So what do you think about this matchup? I don't think we can look at last year and let that dictate it.
No, you can. And I think Lakeview is going to be drastically improved, and I think their defense is going to be drastically improved. And you saw Coach Armini talk about how that defense he expects to be improved because how much quicker they respond and how much more fluent they are on that defensive side.
I think this is aimed at you.
Oh, it is. I know, Mark. I know. We'll make it up. Hey, remember, it's not who I want to win. It's who I think is going to. And what my opinion means is nothing. So don't worry about it, Mark. But for me tonight, in my opinion, I think for Lakeview, I think they do have an improved defense, and I think it's going to be drastically improved. But LeBray is just returning too much on offense. They're at home. It's gonna be. I think it's a daunting task for Lakeview. I think Lakeview is drastically improved this season, but I think that's just too tall of a mountain to climb week one.
Yeah, I'm right with you. Lakeview is not going to be the brunt of jokes anymore this year. But at the same time, I don't think they've gotten to a level where they can beat LeBray and the offense that LeBray is going to bring to the table. I think LeBray gets this win tonight at home too.
Yeah, I think so as well, and I just think that offense is really high powered, and I think that's going to be the difference is the amount of points that offense can put up.
Lisbon travels to our newest member of the YSN family in Wyndham tonight. Two teams that are looking to kind of take the next step as programs after a okay season last year, but maybe not to their standards.
Yeah, and I mean Brandon McPherson will tell you all about the Wyndham football team as he's passionate about it in his own right as well.
Well, Mark was aiming hate towards Billy, but
everyone's aiming hate it towards Billy. That's not a surprise either. So, but for Wyndham at Lisbon, from what I'm seeing too, and what Wyndham is returning, they have the potential to be very decent, and I think both of these teams are set up to have drastically improved seasons from last year. But in this one, I don't know. I just have a feeling with home teams this year in week one after COVID, I feel like it's going to be something a little bit more of an advantage to teams in certain aspects. But in this one, I just have a feeling about Wyndham, man. I just have a feeling about the Bombers, and I'm going to stick with Wyndham on this one.
You know, I'm on your boat, except my feeling is about Lisbon this year. Like the end of the season last year, their offense started to put things together. They're returning a lot. They're finding a rhythm as a team. I'm going Lisbon to go on the road, get a week one victory, go 1-0.
That's fair. That's fair to say too. I think Lisbon has the potential to do it too. I was mulling. I was gonna pick them too, but I just have a feeling Bombers coming into the network, I have a feeling they're gonna go off with a bang for their week one broadcast. First time we have Wyndham on the network.
Next on the docket, we have possible fireworks at Firestone with Vinny Balone and the Rockets coming into Columbiana. Man, we talked about this matchup. It's going to be a high-flying offense versus a team that prides itself in defense. Strength versus strength. Week one, what do you kind of see out of this matchup, Louisville versus Columbiana?
This is going to be so much fun watching this matchup, and it is going to be so exciting. I think both Columbiana and Louisville are going to put on an absolute show tonight, but I don't know, man. I might be biased. I'm a Vinny Balone fan, man. I'm a fan of how the kid plays. I'm a fan of how he plays in the system. I feel like Vinny Balone is going to go and get a very big, significant win over Columbiana week one.
Yeah, I'm going with the Rockets too. I think that offense too hard to hold down. Too many question marks on Clippers' offensive side. I don't think they're going to be able to match Louisville score to score.
I think so as well. I think Vinny Balone taking that next step in his career, he's going to be improved, I think, from last year. And if he's improved from last year, wow.
Next on the docket, United hosting Minerva.
This is an interesting one, too, because United's one of those teams that not a whole lot of people talk about, but they were at tops of pretty much everything. And they had a lot of significant players, but didn't get really a whole lot of a media time or really a lot of people talking about them. But this is a team I think is going to be very good, and I think they're going to start off with a significant week one win over Minerva.
Yeah, I think United, they are returning a lot. I mean, they are trying to replace a lot. Brutus Ogilvie obviously gone. Keaton Baker obviously gone. I think they have enough for this win at home against Minerva. A Minerva team not too impressive last year. I don't know much about them because we don't see them too much. But I don't see United dropping their home opener tonight in week one.
No, I think they have enough to get to fill those holes of Brutus Ogilvie and Keaton Baker, because United, I mean, they've been known to produce receivers pretty well over there, so I don't think that's going to be an issue.
Next, we have Hubbard hosting Norway, and that's a tough draw for Hubbard in week one. And what do you see in this matchup?
He wish he had Jamie Thompson on for this one because he would love to preview this matchup for us.
Jamie and Romo need to be on right now.
Yeah, I know, to talk about the Hubbard Eagles because you know they're going to be repping them. This one's going to be this is a very tough draw for Hubbard. And honestly, being the fact that Hubbard too, oh man, this one's a tough one because Norwayne, knowing how good Norwayne has been too, but the fact that Hubbard is also home is significant because anytime Hubbard plays at home is an advantage, and you know that as well, Anthony. I'll say Hubbard comes away with the victory.
I'm not going to be the guy to pick against YSN teams. And
it'll happen. It's going to happen. Believe me, there's going to be one where I can't do it. I'm not going to be able to do it. But yeah, I do think Hubbard has a good shot tonight. I do. Being home, and I think they were a few plays away. And like we said, turnovers were the biggest issue with Hubbard last year. If you can limit the turnovers, I think they're as solid can be, and I think they're solid enough to beat a Norwayne team week 1.
We've already seen a couple running backs have big days in day 1. I think TC Caffey's going to have a huge day for the Eagles, maybe over 200 yards on the ground for him, and Eagles beat Norwayne in week 1.
I think so as well. I think you could expect big things from Caffey this year.
Pymatuning Valley makes the trip to Mineral Ridge. What do you think about this one?
This one's an interesting one because Pie Valley being at the top of their conference for so long and the top again last year. So we know Wyndham's going to be trying to vie for the tops of that. And this is a big one, and they need the help of Mineral Ridge to kind of get them on the right track if they need some help beating Pie Valley. But Pie Valley is a very, very good team though this year, and they're going to be very good again. But there's something about Mineral Ridge and the way they've been playing, and I just have a feeling about them taking that next step and being drastically improved again. And I don't know if I feel like there's a consensus around YSN that Mineral Ridge is going to be pretty darn good this year, and I think Mineral Ridge is going to open up with a big week 1 victory over Pie Valley.
I think so too. I think Pie Valley it's a little bit of a step up for them to go from who they play in the regular season to, especially who they played last year in the regular season with a conference-only schedule. Nothing against the NAC, but it's a lot of really small teams. And all of a sudden, Mineral Ridge a little bit bigger than what they're used to. I think Mineral Ridge is going to win this game with their size and their physicality.
And not to mention a new stadium, too.
Yeah, new turf. Come on.
New turf.
Pie Valley is not going to ruin the christening of the turf. I'm sorry.
This is a week 1 matchup, a game 1 matchup that you want to etch in because it's going to be on a beautiful new turf field and fans are going to be in the stands after a year. It's going to be a special night, and you just have a feeling like if Mineral Ridge, if there's any night for Mineral Ridge to get a win, it's tonight.
East hosts Shaw tonight. Shaw and East. I mean, Cleveland Shaw, a tough opponent coming in for East. We know their schedule is tough. We talked a lot about the Golden Bears and the strides they're going to take this year. Are you going to be the bad guy this time?
I might have to be because I do think, as much as I do think East takes those strides, Cleveland Shaw knocked Beaver Local out of the playoffs. And Shaw is one of those teams that if they knocked Beaver Local out and how good Beaver Local was last year, and I thought Beaver Local was a solid team, East is going to be drastically improved, but I still think they're about a year or 2 off from getting to that point to where they're competing significantly. But I do think they have the pieces to get some wins and be improved from this year. But Cleveland Shaw is just a tough week 1 matchup, and I have a feeling that East they might put up a good performance and they might surprise some people tonight. But I think Shaw is still too well established right now.
You'll be the voice of reason. I'll be the guy that backs our guys. Go Bears. Go Golden Bears. Shock the world. And you know what? Cleveland, mistake on the lake. They're going to come in and make some mistakes.
Oh, there you go. There he goes.
So
has to go right after Cleveland now in some form or capacity.
I got to.
Oh well. But no, I mean, hey, like we said, it's not about wanting or there you go. There you go. Anthony's only rooting for the Chiefs. That's the only thing you have to worry about Anthony rooting for. You want to talk about any announcer bias? That's the only thing Anthony cares about. He just cares about the Chiefs.
All right.
Are you a West Branch fan then,
From,
secretly, Anthony?
from that, we go to South Range, going to Springfield. Marquee matchup, of course, return of the rivalry. Everyone's talking about it. Now we have to make our picks. Who do you got in this matchup? It's really evenly matched. It's going to be hard to pick.
Talking to both Yeagley and Guerrero, both coaches, I mean, you know that they're going to have their guys ready for this matchup, and you know the game plan of both of them. We've previewed both of them, talked to both of them. You can watch both of those interviews before game day tonight. So, I mean, check both of those out because they're both fantastic interviews, and both of them highlight this game very well, too. This is going to be a very close game, I think, and this is going to be a game that's going to be back and forth, and you're going to see, I think, a lot of offense in this game, Anthony. There's going to be a lot of scoring. But I just feel like because last year was the year it was supposed to happen, and it's unfortunate it didn't, I think the fact that South Range losing their quarterback, Springfield returning theirs, gives Springfield the edge. Also, Springfield being at home gives them a little bit more of an edge. I'm going to go Springfield at home tonight.
Yeah, there are two keys to this game. There's the one that you brought up that South Range is obviously bringing a first-time quarterback starting on the varsity level. Then Springfield returning Bo Brungard, who's arguably the best quarterback in the area, period. But then I think the other key is Coach Guerrero talked about it. South Range's front seven, very aggressive. They love to penetrate, and Springfield, the most they're replacing is on that offensive line. So are they going to be able to, one, protect Bo Brungard, and two, establish the run? And on the other side, are they going to be able to stop Dylan Dominguez from running the ball and establishing that run? Obviously, South Range is going to try to keep the ball away from Bo Brungard as much as they can with the run game. I got to go South Range.
I had a feeling you were going to go with South Range.
I'm not going to try not to be a homer all season, but if I pick Springfield in this matchup, I don't think I'd ever be able to go back to South Range again.
It's another one of those. It's like Canfield Poland. It's like Fitch Cheney for me. It's one of those. I was going back and forth in my head, but I just have feelings about certain games. And with this is another one. I just have a feeling about Springfield, but you have a feeling about South Range. We'll be talking Monday, and we'll be talking.
I'm calling overtime because they've had the last two matchups go into overtime.
Very easily could go into overtime. Very easily. So
maybe
you might see a lot of trick plays too with some holes on the offensive line for Springfield too.
I will say this: Springfield has a chance to make it lopsided, and if South Range wins, it'll be close. Then I will say that. I feel like if Springfield could run away with this game because Bo Brungard, if he gets the ball a lot, they force the new quarterback into some bad situations. They could run away with it. If South Range wins, it will not. It will be close. They're not going to run away.
I agree with you. If South Range can keep it close, I think they have the advantage to win the game. But if Springfield gets up more than like 2 scores, it's going to be a tall task for South Range to get out of that hole because Springfield up 2 scores means you're going to need them to make 2 mistakes. And if they're up more than that, that just doesn't happen very often for Springfield. So if you're down 3 scores and you're needing them to make 2 to 3 mistakes, that's daunting enough trying to beat a Springfield team.
Our local Arrowhead Stadium welcomes in Streetsboro as the Girard Indians open the season at home against a Streetsboro team. Very physical, very tough. We said in our preview, we just hope that Girard can get out of this game healthy because we know the reputation that Streetsboro has as a team that really physical and then will play you to the whistle, sometimes maybe a little bit after it.
Well, yeah, we know him from playing the Canfield Cardinals in the Division III playoffs last year. Cardinals were able to get past Streetsboro, but I think Richie Giuliano will tell you best in that game against the Streetsboro Rockets that Canfield got beat up pretty well in that game, and they are a very physical team, and they do not mess around at all. So they're a team that is going to be one of those that punches you in the mouth, and you're going to have to try to adjust to the way they play. And for Girard, yeah, it's a tough schedule for them, but this is a very good week 1 matchup, I think, for the Indians, because it's a matchup they're going to need. Like we said, 4-6 last year. I think they have some strides to make improvement wise, but I thought their offense was pretty solid. And I think what they're bringing back a decent amount on offensive line. We talk about the receivers they're bringing back, and also you're bringing back, you're going with a different quarterback, I think, too, is the huge one, Tristan Valley, because you don't have Del Garbino anymore. And I think that's going to be the biggest thing for Gerard. Not knowing too much on what Streetsboro is replacing, but knowing enough that Streetsboro usually
I'll be the bad guy again, aren't you?
is going to be, hey, am I the bad guy if they're in my backyard too? Yeah, I think Streetsboro, I think Gerard keeps it close, but I think Gerard, because they're bringing in a new quarterback for Del Garbino, I think it's going to take about a week or two to get him up to speed. I do think Tristan Valley is going to be a very good quarterback, though, for Gerard. Coming into his junior year and thinking these next 2 years, I think he's going to be very good and have a lot of improvement. But, going into that week 1 new system, I think it's going to be a little bit too daunting going up against a very established, good Streetsboro team.
Gerard's defense will be huge. Melito will have a big game. Gerard wins their home opener. And yes, James, we did do Fitch and Cheney, and we split. Your boy Ty picked Cheney. I picked Fitch. So I'm picking Gerard. I think Melito's going to have a really huge game for them. And I think Gerard has a little bit more weapons than people will say outside of him. And maybe some secondary players will get some big games too from the Indians. But I think their defense is going to be the story of that game. Their defense is very underrated.
I think so as well. I think their defense, bringing back a decent amount and having those guys play both ways, it's gonna need to come down to just the physicality and how physical Gerard's gonna be, because that front seven is gonna make and break this game tonight. And if they can get a win, their front seven needs to out tough Streetsboro's front seven and or offensive line too. And it's going to be that battle of the trenches. And Streetsboro has some size, but if Gerard can hang tough and stick with them, they have a very good chance.
I don't know who he's wowing, if he's wowing your pick or my pick, but we got a wow from James Bartell. Just wow. Just wow. You know what else will be just wow? Struthers going to St. Thomas Aquinas on the road. One of the few teams that is a non-YSN matchup that is on the road this week. What do you think about the Wildcats' chances? We both think they're going to be really improved. Are they improved enough to go to St. Thomas and win that game?
This is going to be a tough game because St. Thomas is one of those schools that is usually pretty darn good year to year. But you know what? I do think going into this year, I think the Wildcats are going to be improved. I think they're going to go off the coattails of the success of the basketball team, as well as the success of some other sports that they had. I think Struthers, we know success breeds success in sports, and I think the football team had some solid pieces. And knowing just the history of that school, I think Struthers is going to be improved. You can't keep them down for too long.
I picked Struthers as well, and we move on to the next one, which I think will be a track meet. Valley Christian versus Camel in Camel. In that nice turf field. A lot of straight up athletes on both those teams. My word, defenses could get stretched in a hurry.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And this is another one of those tough matchups where, it took me a few looks to really try to figure out who I even wanted to, who I thought could come out on top of this one, because both of these teams are in a very similar situation, I think. But honestly, it's hard because Campbell is with that nice field, but I think Valley is going to be able to go in and pull off the upset. I think Valley returning, I think, a little bit more pieces, a little bit more significant pieces from last year. Not that Campbell doesn't have younger pieces in there that might step up that we don't know the name of, but I do think Valley, at least my opinion, Valley gets the win tonight.
I'm going with Camel. I think they had more bright spots last year. More kids that I saw, all they were was young. They're really talented. I think Valley will just take a little bit more time to develop. I think Camel's ready. I'm going to take Camel in this one.
That's fair too, and I think Camel is one of those teams too. We don't know. This is an interesting matchup because both these teams we expect them to be improved, but we don't really know what to expect from either team. And I think it's going to be a fun, exciting game that really can go either way.
Warren JFK goes to champion. And, JFK, everyone knows what they did last year, got all the way to the state championship game, fell. Champion, a team that would have made the playoffs last year. Of course, everyone made the playoffs, but they would have probably had a good enough record to make the playoffs in a normal sense of the word too. But honestly, they couldn't play the playoffs because they had a COVID outbreak. What do we think about this game in Champion in Warren?
I mean, it's pretty similar to Ursuline and how that kind of ended. They have a sour taste in their mouth. You got to figure Champion does going into the season. And Champion obviously last year had a pretty decent record. I think they were 2-3 when all was said and done going into it. But overall, I think even though Champion being home, which I think is a huge advantage, I know everyone's going to point to the loss of Hollabaugh on JFK. But you got to remember, there's a lot of other players that are returning on JFK. Yes, you lose Hollabaugh, and he is a significant piece, and he's a huge piece. But a lot of those players that played on that team, and also the baseball team that just won state with Hollabaugh not a couple of months ago, are still on this team. So it'd be hard-pressed for me to expect this team to really suffer too much of jet lag just because they lost Hollabaugh. Now, don't get me wrong. He's a significant loss. School records out the wazoo at that school. But they have enough other good, talented pieces on that football team that I think JFK can still go out there and get a win on the road tonight.
Yeah, I can't pick against JFK. I gotta give them respect for what they did last year. I know it's a different team. I get it, but you can't pick
a state runner-up though.
You can't pick against the state runner-up in week 1. It's just not done. One does not simply pick against the state runner-up.
But I will say, Champion does have that opportunity too. And if JFK is experiencing that jet lag without Cam Hollabaugh there, expect Champion to take advantage of it because they will easily take advantage of mistakes that you put on them. And a week 1 win against the state runner-up sound pretty darn good in Champion's mind right now.
Waterloo makes the trip to Newton Falls. What can we say about this matchup?
I think both of these teams are going to be in an interesting spot. I think Waterloo trying to really build that football program up. We know them typically to be a basketball program heavy the last few years, but they're trying to rebuild that football program up. And Newton Falls is pretty well established with their sports. They love their sports down there, football, basketball, baseball. And I think no different in this, that they're going to be successful. A bad year for Newton Falls is usually 4 or 5 wins in a football season for what their expectations are. But I think this is an interesting matchup because both these teams, I think, are really trying to establish themselves now and trying to rebuild themselves up from last year. But I think Newton Falls is going to get a win over Waterloo tonight.
I'm going the other way. I love the energy that Waterloo is bringing into this season. They feel like a rejuvenated program. I know they struggled last year. They're building a new a bleacher set in their stadium by themselves. You know, we've seen the football coach out there building it. We've seen the AD out there building it. I think there's this energy with the Waterloo program. They're gonna definitely win some games this year, and I think this is a big opportunity for them to go 1-0.
I think it is as well, and I wouldn't be surprised if Waterloo does go out there and get a week 1 victory after everyone media-wise has been doubting them and putting them on blast. I think this is a perfect example of Waterloo going out there and saying, "Hey, we don't need any of the critics. We could go out there and get a win ourselves too," and it would be a big win too over a Newton Falls team. Hey, I've been out to that Waterloo school a few times, and I know the fans out there and how faithful they are and how much they love their kids, and that community loves that school. Good showing of community with those new bleachers. It's going to be a different feeling for Waterloo, and that might be enough to propel them to a victory.
I'll say this about Waterloo. They have a very, very strong sense of us versus you, us versus the world, us better. We beat everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, there is no room for I don't want to say mutual respect, because obviously you respect the other opponent, but there's no love lost between any fan base that comes into that gym or that football field. It is straight up, you're a faceless opponent and we're going to beat you tonight. And they have that big sense in that community.
It's because they're on an island, essentially, right, away from everybody else. So
in a city called Atwater.
Yeah. You come into Viking Island and you have to try to battle against Waterloo. And it's a community that comes out of the...
Hey, Napoleon tried. It didn't work.
Yeah. It's a community that comes in their big Scandinavian ships and strows to the school and show up, and they're ready to battle every single time.
You didn't think you were going to get a history nod today, did you?
No.
You are. But you did. Shocker. You never know what you're going to get on Running Point.
No, but
Very interesting matchup in Pottertown. West Branch comes to East Liverpool. Two teams that, like, I feel like this is evenly matched. I'm having a hard time picking this one.
I'm having a hard time picking this one as well because I think East Liverpool is going to be a very dynamic team again with the Potters. But in this one specifically, and I know Mikey McKenzie is loving this matchup because he wants Liverpool to get this week 1 loss. And you know what? I just think West Branch being that top scoring offense and just that dynamic team, one of the best teams, I think West Branch too, bringing that defense back. I think West Branch is going to be able to get a win over East Liverpool tonight.
I think Drew Shields is going to have his welcome to the shine, welcome to the lights moment, stepping in as quarterback this year. Drew Shields has a big night. West Branch beats East Liverpool, in my opinion. So I'm going with the Warriors as well. Last but not least, Western Reserve travels to Liberty to take on the Leopards. What do you think about the Blue Devils? Liberty with a new coach, a return the roar motto, and a rejuvenated program.
I really like the Liberty program, and I really like what they're doing and the strides that they are making over there as well. And I think Liberty is going to be a drastically improved program. I think they got the right coach, and they got the right pieces to build it. That being said, I still think they're.
I knew you were going to. I was like,
yeah.
oh man, he's
still in. I think they've laid the groundwork for the foundations, and they're starting to build the house. Whereas Western Reserve had the house built. And there was some damages to the house because they lost to Jackson Milton last year, and they're pretty pissed off about that. And Western Reserve is coming into this year and trying to go in and saying, hey, we ran the MVAC for years, and we're looking to take that back. I think Western Reserve is looking to make a statement tonight. But if they're not careful, I think Liberty can keep it close too. So I think it's going to be a good game, but I put it in favor of the Blue Devils.
Here's that. I think the Western Reserve program last year underachieved and now are trying to rebound off that. Liberty is upswinging and trying to build energy. I'm taking the Leopards tonight to build that energy, make a statement. We are here. We're going to beat one of the historically dominant teams in the area. I think Western Reserve is still trying to reel from a not meeting their standards type season. I feel like Liberty has more energy, more momentum. As a program, they're returning a lot. There's a lot of experience on that team, a lot of athletes. Their defensive line is a mammoth, and Western Reserve likes to run the ball a lot. Don't know how well they're going to be able to run tonight against that Liberty defensive line. I'm taking the Leopards.
I mean, it's not a bad pick, but I mean, the biggest thing, you're going to have to stop David Altier. And I think that's going to be the biggest question. If Liberty can stop David Altier tonight, they have a great chance at winning. If David Altier gets loose, it's Western Reserve all day.
Liberty, 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 Liberty.
As I believe that concludes our Friday picks, right?
Right. Now we have to pick our last matchup of the week that's happening on Saturday. Jackson Milton getting on the bus and going all the way to the University of Toledo to face Hilltop, which is someone I don't know anything about, to be brutally honest. But they're playing in the Glass Bowl in the University of Toledo. What do you think?
I think much like Bishop Hartley came into Youngstown and faced a team from up in this northeastern part of Ohio, the Columbus area thought that they were going to come in and run the show, and Ursuline showed them a little bit about what northeastern Ohio and what the Mahoning and Trumbull and Portage, Columbiana counties that football is all about. And now we have this team from the western part now of the state that we're going to have to go and face over at Hilltop in Toledo. We're going to go face them at Toledo, I should say. And it's another team that's going to disrespect us. And I think Jackson Milton's going to prove to them just why you don't disrespect football in this area.
Well, I'm going Jackson Milton all the way. One, because I don't know anything about Hilltop, so I can't even – like if it shows up in Hilltop's a juggernaut in Western Ohio, then I might be made look like a fool. But hey, we're backing YSN teams here. Go Blue Jays!
As of course, our proud DJ Yoakley will be on that schedule for that game too, I believe. So get to hear the voice of YSN.
I could have swore I heard the phone ringing, but the light wasn't going off, so I might be hearing things. It's a long week. I've been doing a lot. I might be breaking down.
I think you are, Anthony. I think you need to get to some football tonight, and you need to get to some volleyball tomorrow morning.
Oh yes.
I think that's going to be a perfect.
I need to see my buddy Mike Eccleston again. I haven't seen him in so long, and he's coming back into the studio tonight for Audible Call. So to recap, we both picked Louisville. We both picked McDonald. I picked Cardinal Mooney. You picked Boardman. I picked Austintown Fitch. You picked Cheney. We both picked Beaver Local. We both picked La Brea. Sorry, I got one ahead of myself. I picked Lisbon. You picked Wyndham. So we split with that one. I picked Lowville. You picked Lowville too, right?
Yes.
Okay, so we both picked the Rockets. We both picked United. We both picked Hubbard. We both picked Mineral Ridge. You picked Cleveland Shaw.
I did.
And I picked East because I backed the teams that we support. And Ty doesn't. Just remember that when we have East on.
Oh, yeah. After I preface the whole thing. It's not who I want to win. It's who I think is going to. And my opinion doesn't matter.
Springfield. You picked Springfield. I picked South Range. We both picked Struthers. No, I'm sorry. I went one ahead against again. We both picked Girard, right? You did not pick Streetsboro. Or you did pick Streetsboro.
I picked Streetsboro, yeah.
Remember that when we have Girard people on.
I will. I'll remember it for you.
Girard people will remember. We both picked Struthers to go to St. Thomas Aquinas and win. You picked Valley Christian. I picked Camel. We both picked Warren JFK. I picked Waterloo. You picked Newton Falls. We both picked West Branch. And you picked Western Reserve. I picked Liberty.
Sounds right.
So Monday comes along. We'll see which one of us. Well, we'll keep a running score like you do with Scotty.
And look at Gerald too, coming in big with the Hilltop preview. Hilltop going 0-8, so looking a lot better for the Blue Jays coming away with a win at Toledo.
Let's go, King of the Hilltop.
Gerald,
let's go.
Gerald coming in clutch with the Hilltop preview.
I always liked people named Gerald ever since Hey Arnold came out, and the coolest character on the show was Gerald.
There you go, Gerald. Coming in big time for us. We appreciate it.
Got some pop culture references, got some history references. You never know what you're going to get on Running Point.
Never know what you're going to get, but you know what you're going to get with YSN tonight right after this.
Let's take a minute to take a break, and we'll come back and run down everything that's going to be going on tonight at the network. So we'll take one final timeout on Running Point. Be back to wrap it up and preview what's going to be on YSN tonight on the Friday slate of games. Next on Running Point.
Ah, the details. Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods is one fine ride. Perfect cornering, superb handling, sporty and stylish, power to spare, plus awesome mileage. Yeah, jaw-droppingly beautiful lines and well-appointed with luxurious trim. Put more oomph in your life and start beholding the molding. Find your home's fine hardwood at BairdBrothers.com.
Planning a project around your home or rental property? Trust the electrical service to the local experts with 62 years of serving the Mahoning Valley. Joe Dickey Electric is your local go-to source for responsive, reliable residential electrical work. From everyday maintenance and repairs to new installations, electrical upgrades, and safety inspections, no job is too big or too small. Call Joe Dickey Electric today, 800-549-3976, or visit DickeyElectric.com. That's DickeyElectric.com.
For heating, cooling, and indoor air quality, the Mahoning Valley trusts MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning, offering worry-free repair, service, and installation. Call MP Vivo today for a free estimate.
MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning. We're your energy-efficient experts.
Attention, current lessees of most makes and models. Tri-State Ford has a special offer for you. Come to Tri-State Ford, turn in your lease early, and get up to $2,500 in trade equity toward a new Ford or pre-owned vehicle. Plus, our exclusive Tri-State Ford Advantage includes a 10-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Early lease turn-in for most makes and models with up to $2,500 trade equity.
Customer focused, community driven. Tri-State 40 Liverpool, or visit tristateford.net.
At Greenwood Chevrolet, shop with confidence knowing we're ready to go the extra mile for you. With the largest selection of used vehicles in the Valley, backed by the Greenwood Advantage Warranty. Every one of our vehicles has undergone our own 126-point inspection, so it passes the most important inspection, yours. No other dealership has the extra inventory, gives you extra for your trade, and goes the extra mile for you. Only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Welcome back to Running Point on YSN, brought to you by our friends at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. They go the extra mile for you, as you just heard Anthony Hartwig alongside my buddy Ty Bartel. We just did all of our picks, and now let's run down what's going to be on the network for the rest of the night. After us, 3 to 4, Power Hour. They'll be making picks all day. So we'll have a lot of picks on Power Hour, 3 to 4. At 6:50-ish, Mike Ackelson and the Audible Call will start. That is the NFL Red Zone style of show that features every high school game that we have on our network. We'll be bouncing around from game to game, trying to get every score possible live on the network. You can watch that on ysnlive.com or our Facebook page. Also, all 21 games kicking off at 7 o'clock, including where Ty is going. Austintown Fitch hosting Cheney. And every game on our network can be found at ysnlive.com/live. Completely free, thanks to our wonderful sponsors this week. And tomorrow morning, I'll be in Crestview doing the Rebels hosting Lakeview volleyball match. And DJ is making the trip to Toledo. So Jackson Milton fans, you will definitely have your game covered tomorrow. So for Anthony Hartwig, Ty Bartel, we got to get out of here because we have a lot to do for the rest of Friday night. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you all on Monday, 12 to 3.